And welcome in to Fitzpatrick Stadium for this week's MBR Game of the Week matchup between the Bonny Eagle Scots and the Portland Bulldogs. Matt Boutwell, Steve Flynn with you here. Right now, we're going to talk with Michael Hoffer from the Forecaster. He's going to talk about the Portland and the Cheverus side of this game. Of course, Cheverus in action tomorrow against Edward Little. Talk a little bit about that one as well. Also, right after this, we'll talk with Coach Kevin Cooper from Bonny Eagle as well. Actually, you know what? We're going to start on the video side with Kevin Cooper. On the radio side, you'll go over to Michael Hoffer. It's the MBR Game of the Week across the MBR Radio Network video stream. Of course, you can find that at mbr.org. Just subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube. On the radio side of things, it's the Game of the Week brought to you by CMCC and Hammond Lumber. Here we go with Coach Cooper.
Welcome back. Beeless Daily, Maine Athletic Fundraiser Friday. Coach Wing will join us in just a little bit. We'll talk to Lewiston head football coach Bruce Nicholas later, Edward Little head football coach Dave Sterling later, and we'll also be talking with Oxford Hills head football coach Mark Soren later. Right now, of course, we've got the game of the week tonight as Bonny Eagle travels to Fitzpatrick Stadium to battle the Portland Bulldogs. Last time you went to Fitzpatrick Stadium, it seemed to go well for you, Coach Kevin Cooper. So hoping for a repeat performance this week, I'm assuming.
Yeah, we always like playing there. It's a great atmosphere, and Portland's always been a great opponent for us, so we're excited to go there, no doubt.
You have you've had a very, very solid start to the season. You got a open night win against Sanford, and then I'm sure it's always fun to beat up the local rivals, Wyndham next door. Big win for you last Friday with a quarter of the regular season already wrapped up.
Yeah, we've been happy. You know, our guys have really been focused at the beginning of the season. We knew we had to get these ones early. You always want to get up to a good start. And you're right, certainly beating Wyndham, that's always one that our guys point to and want to play well. They know a lot of the Wyndham kids, and obviously Wyndham's had a great program. Matt Perkins does a great job there. So it was a very nice win for us last week. We're pretty satisfied at the end.
Connor Soroy's your new quarterback this year. For folks that don't know anything about him, let's talk a little bit about him. It looks like he's doing a pretty good job. He's almost playing. I always liken your offense to kind of like a basketball offense. He's the point guard, and you've got so many weapons. He's going to decide who to get it to.
Yeah, Connor's very, very smart. That's the first thing. And he's learned our offense through and through. He had a great summer of 7-on-7. Really threw the ball well, understands our reads and our passing game. He's not the runner that maybe Cam Day was last year, but he's very, very smart. Gets the right hole when he runs the ball. Directs the ball in the passing game. It's great to have as a coach. It's great to have a kid like Connor kind of directing everything because as coaches we trust him to the utmost. He's a great kid. He's a great leader. The rest of our team trusts him. We're excited about what he can do this year for us, for sure.
You know, in the first couple of weeks, I've seen some iffy / sketchy special teams play, not only in Maine high school football, but also in college football and even the pros. Cordell Menard had a big play for you last week, and then he's been doing well at receiver. Talk a little bit about the special teams, because I know we can talk about offense and defense all day, but you can do some great things on both sides of the ball, and they can be given away or taken back by your special teams in the blink of an eye.
Right, no doubt. We work awful hard on special teams, and sometimes, you go weeks at a time before that hard work actually turns into a big play on a Friday night. We've been fortunate that especially our punt return game has been very good. Cordell had a big one last week. Alex Sprague had a big one last week. So we think those guys are weapons back there, and we talk all the time about with our blocking unit that just got to give them a little bit of space, and they're going to turn those punts into big plays for us. And we feel the same way about our kickoff return. Last year we had a couple big ones. Camp the Birds returned one in the Western Maine final. That was huge. I mean, we're going to spend a lot of time trying to make sure that we're as good as we can be on special teams, and it impacts the offense and defense so much. When you have great coverage on your defensive special teams like kickoff or punt, it translates into great defense in the next series. When you have great offensive special teams on your return game, it translates into great offensive series. So if we get great returns, our offense is going to be tough to keep off the board.
Now, everybody's been excited about, and everybody sees the big scores. They see the 48 points, the 55 points, but your defense only allowed 7 points to two Class A football teams over the last couple of weeks. Arlo Pike seems to be the leader over on that defense. Let's talk a little bit about that defense, because I think sometimes defenses can be overlooked when offenses are doing so well.
Yeah, offense, been following offense, and everybody, I'm sure that the football fan thinks their offense coordinators is kind of certainly the sexy side of the ball, but defense really, is where, if you want to win games, and certainly if you want to win games in November and games that are going to result in trophies in your trophy case, the defense has got to be great. And Arlo Pike has been awesome for us. He's another great kid. He's being recruited by Division I schools. He plays defensive end for us, and when you run at him, you got a load to run against. And we're fortunate that on the other side of our front line, we have Nick Thorne, who's another great player for us. So we'll kind of bookend our front with those two guys. And both Arlo and Nick and Zach Klein, who's our nose, Aaron Hodgman, who's one of our inside backers, and Christian Napolitano, who's another outside backer, all those guys have been starting since their sophomore year. So those guys have a ton of experience. Really on defense, we bring back 8 starters, and we only lost 3 starters off a championship team. So we expected our defense to really be strong right at the beginning of the season, and we just got to hope that they keep playing that way and give us a great chance to win.
What do you? Obviously, Portland's a little bit different than last year. Of course, you guys, everybody loses players each year from graduation. What do you know about Portland, and what do you on the lookout from them? From them on Friday night.
Yeah, they've got some great skill kids. I mean, if you look at their skill group, whether that be Griffin Foley, who caught a big pass against us in the state game last year, or just they might have the best all-around athlete in the state, and Terry Moss. Vinny Pasquale was a starter last year for those guys. I mean, so they obviously lost a lot with losing their running back Dylan Baldock, but they returned some great athletes too. So. This week we've just tried to focus on the fact that their offensive skill guys can really hurt you if we're not really in focus with our preparation and our play Friday night. So they're kind of unsettled at quarterback. They might stick with their sophomore note, or they might go with Moss or Pasquale. We don't really know about that, so we can't prepare that way. But their skill guys can hurt you, and then they've got 3 linemen back from last year's state championship team, or against us. So I mean, we got to make sure that we're really ready to go tomorrow night.
Are there guys on your roster that, always the skill position players and the guys that are getting the stats, and I like to call them the fantasy stats, the daily fantasy stats, even in high school football, that's what they are, the sacks, the touchdowns, the interceptions and things. But the guys on the line for you guys always seem to be tough and know right where they're supposed to be. Are there guys, whether it's on the offensive line or maybe even on the defensive line, that you don't think maybe get the pub they should be getting, that you might want to mention here while we're doing the game of the week so they can get their shout-outs? Because I know they do a lot of dirty work, and those are some jerseys that have to go through a heavy washing usually on games after Friday night.
Right, definitely. We think that our offensive line, they're still coming together. We only returned 1 starter, but we're gelling fast in our front, and really we're really kind of focusing around, and the key guy there for us is a kid named Zach Klein. Zach's been a 3-year starter for us. Both at left tackle, he also starts at nose. And so Zach is a great player. He's very strong. He's put in a ton of work in the off season in the weight room. He's a good leader. He knows his assignments. Other kids can turn to him, and they can count on him to help them out. So he's really been a mainstay for us on the left side of our offensive line. And on the right side, we've got another senior who hasn't been a varsity player yet. He was on our JV's team last year, but another kid that just worked incredibly hard in the off season, and that's Jake Sperry. Jake's a big kid, and being able to line up and run behind him, he's big, he's strong. It's been pretty effective for us. So I think those 2 guys bookending our offensive line are pretty important for us.
Bonny Eagle head football coach Kevin Cooper joins us now, and wrapping up with him. Game of the week tonight, Bonny Eagle and Portland. Of course, you can watch that game on MBR.org. Just subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube, and you can be notified anytime we go live. And you can hear the game on the radio as well on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and across the internet on Sports Time 780. Coach Cooper, good luck on Friday night, and thank you very much for joining me today.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center, Central Maine Orthopedics, OA Centers for Orthopedics, all playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
And we're joined now by the man, the myth, the legend. You can follow him on Twitter for sports. We'll get his Patriots thoughts in just a moment. It's Michael Hoffer from The Forecaster. Catch him online at forecaster.net. Michael, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing very good. I'd be very careful using that term "gentleman" here. It's pretty loose this morning here.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Coach Haley and Coach Wing hanging out in here this morning with us. So actually, Coach Haley's joined us for the whole show, and we were going to spend an hour and a half just talking Yankees to torture Coach Wing, but we decided instead we should talk about a couple other things.
We've given him a pretty good dose, though.
Yeah, we've given him just enough. I think
mostly whining.
Yeah, which is good. You know, the first thing I want to talk about with you, Michael, is I don't want to talk about. We'll have Bonny Eagle Portland tomorrow night on MBR.org's video stream as the game of the week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. We'll talk about that in a minute because I do want to talk about the Portland Bulldogs. They've struggled to start the year. Also want to talk about the Chevrolet Stags. We got their game on Saturday afternoon. That'll be on 105.5 AM 1240 as EL takes on Chevrolet. Coach Wing, Coach Hill will be on the call for that. So I'll talk about those teams in a minute. But I did want to talk about the Chevrolet program to start. Longtime athletic director Gary Hoyt announced in July he was going to retire, and then yesterday his replacement was named.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting. And the new athletic administrator at Chevrolet is Amy Ashley. She was a coach, a very successful field hockey coach there for many years. She was also Gary Hoyt's assistant athletic director for many years before moving on to Yarmouth for a couple of years, where she filled the same role for Susan Robbins and coached the softball team to a state title in 2015. Coached the field hockey team last year to the regional finals. So she's had a lot of success as a coach. This is her first time as an administrator. Obviously, Chevrolet is very near and dear to her heart, and she's excited to, as she said, be coming home. It's a new era at Chevrolet. Gary Hoyt's been there in one capacity or another for 43 years.
Wow.
Which is longer than you've been alive, Maddie, right?
I know,
Maddie. only 4 years, actually, longer.
Yeah, so pretty remarkable, and exciting new era beginning there. And I know that it kind of been in limbo over there without an athletic director for the first couple of weeks of the season. So I know they're excited to get someone in place, and someone that Chevrolet is near and dear to her heart, it makes it even better.
So is Gary on site? Is he still doing it until?
Well, Gary's still filling in. You know, my experience with old athletic directors is they never completely fade away.
It's true.
They come back as assistant coaches, they come back and run the clock, they come back and drive buses. You'll see Gary, I think, you know, on the sidelines of games occasionally, or
Somebody's got to replace those divots on that field.
Right, and the players usually have to do that after the game. But you know, he certainly is as synonymous with Chevrolet as anyone has ever been. So I don't think we've seen the last of him by any means.
Because we have that game on Saturday, and I send him the email. Normally he gets right back to me, so I don't know.
Yeah, now you've...
What's up with that?
Now, well, we'll find out. September 21st, I believe Amy takes over. Will be her first
exactly.
day. Yeah, I read that yesterday somewhere. I can't imagine.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
I'm glad you're keeping up on your reading.
Somebody who's really in the know.
Yeah, somebody who would know these sorts of things so far. So we're kind of up here. We're in the obviously being in the Lewiston Auburn area. We're just kind of marveling at the fact that Edward Little and Lewiston are 2-0 for the first time in a very, very long time.
Yeah, you weren't expecting that, huh?
It's like it's raining cats and dogs. Up is down, left is right. It's just the Northern A. When we did the reclassification a few years ago, we just assumed it would be Portland, Chevrolet, and Wyndham, and everybody would be chasing them for the rest of it. Seems like it's kind of flip flopped this year. What's going on? We're gonna have Bonny Eagle Portland on Friday night. What's going on with the Bulldogs this year?
Well, before I get to that, I mean, this is great, really. I mean, because we've talked about this for a few years, how you could pencil in Portland and Wyndham and Chevrolet, and the schools up in your area, frankly, didn't have a chance in a lot of those games. And you know, we all want to see more competitive games. We all want to see new blood. So the fact that you're seeing Lewiston and Edward Little and Oxford Hills emerging as legitimate contenders, I think it's a great thing. I really do. So you know, as far as Portland goes, I don't think they're far off. You know, you look at their first two games. The first game, they were tied at halftime. They had a couple big plays. They had the ball at the end with a chance to win and couldn't drive down the field against Oxford Hills. Last week, they just dug a pretty deep hole, and again, they almost came back. You know, this is just a really young team, and not just the fact that we're talking about a lot of sophomores playing, but
do they have that big play? Do they have that big play person like they've had?
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, there is no Joe Esposito or Dylan Boldup running the ball this year, not yet. They've got a few, you know, players that can make things happen. They've got some stud athletes on that team. You've got Sharon Moss and Griffin Foley on the field. I mean, that right there makes Portland dangerous. You know, they just, unlike the last couple of years, they don't have an established quarterback. They don't have an established running back. And I think until they get to that point, they're going to struggle putting up points. But this is such a proud program, and Coach Hartman and Coach Rutherford and that staff. You know, I can't imagine practice is too much fun right now when they're 0-2. They haven't been 0-2 in a long time. So, you know, look out. I think they're going to turn it around eventually and be a dangerous team by the end. I don't think that turnaround is going to happen Friday night, though.
Think they maybe working a little bit harder in practice, Mike?
Yeah. I mean, you can imagine what those practices must be.
Yep, I can.
They're probably similar to the Patriots' practices.
Yes, I'm sure they, in many ways, they probably are very similar.
It's very similar. Chevrolet, of course, fell on opening night. They're going to be taking on Edward Little Saturday afternoon. Let's talk a little bit about the Chevrolet Stags and what we can expect in that one. It's not often that Edward Little goes on the road to Chevrolet and is considered the favorite.
No, and it's probably the first time. Yeah, the Chevrolet, let's face it, they took it on the chin on opening night. They lost 24-0 at Wyndham, and really some uncharacteristic mistakes early cost them. Fumbled snap, they had another fumble. You know, next thing you know, you're down a couple touchdowns, so they never had a chance. Last week, they handled Bangor from start to finish. So I really feel like this week's going to be the true barometer of what kind of Chevrolet team this is. Yeah, they looked good last week, but they played a Bangor team that's struggling. Let's see how they do against an Edward Little team that's doing really well and playing with a lot of confidence. You know, the fact that Chevrolet is at home makes me think they're going to come out and play a good game. I have not seen Edward Little in person yet, so looking forward to seeing how they look. I think that has the potential of being a very, very exciting game on Saturday. But I still think Chevrolet, you know, by the end of the season, they're a team that can be in the running for that regional title. They've got a very good running game. They've got a very good line. That line is led by Zeb Levitt. He's the wrestling champion for the heavyweight in Class A. He kind of sets the tone both offensively and defensively for that team. They run the ball. They really don't throw the ball much, but of course that's kind of a Chevrolet tradition. You might see them complete a few passes a game, even during their championship years. So as long as you have the running back and they're able to move the ball that way, I think they're going to be effective. And this is another team that's just kind of getting up to speed like Portland. I think, you know, if they could win this game Saturday, it would really propel them nicely going forward. But I think they're going to be a team that you're going to hear from as we go along.
We have seen. I've seen EL play last Friday night against Portland, and defensively, they're bringing everybody. They are putting, 8 in the box, and they're saying, "Go ahead, try to throw the ball because we're going to tackle the quarterback before it happens."
Right, and and they can certainly sell out against the run against Chevers because that's pretty much all they do, or that's all they have done. So you will see if Chevers adjusts, maybe mix in a few play action passes and tries to catch them that way. So the battle up front I think will be very fascinating in that game.
Mike, I saw the Wyndham game against Chevers, and Wyndham had a lot of success because they really attacked the gaps on defense. I mean, they just went after people up front. Do you think Chevers is going to be able to withstand that type of an approach if anybody else does it to him?
Well, I'm sure they've learned. Obviously, this is a very knowledgeable coaching staff. You've got John Wolfgram as the defensive coordinator, so just having him, I've got to believe, adds a huge amount to the preparation, and that they'll be ready. I think they'll make adjustments. It's a question of how well they'll execute, and that's why we're going to show up there at that little stadium on Saturday to find out. Because we can speculate all you want. I think it's really a fascinating matchup, and like I said, I think it's going to tell us a lot about Chevers. It'll tell us a lot about Edward Little. If they get out of Chevers with a win and they're 3-0, they're going to be sitting very pretty at the early stage of the season.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the other sports, because I know you're not just a football guy. You've got soccer, you've got field hockey, all sorts of things happening down there. Southern part of the state right now, soccer-wise, of course, we pay attention to a lot of the EL Lewiston stuff up here because that's, pretty big rivalry. But who are some of the teams, soccer and field hockey-wise that are off to good starts that we should be looking out for?
Well, Yarmouth boys team is obviously, they might be the class of the state regardless of class. They've won the last 3 Class B titles. This might be the best team they've had. And they've certainly started in a very powerful way. They score goals with abundance. They've got some college level players on that team. They've got some kids who are going to play at the next level, and they're looking very, very strong in the early going. Class A boys has changed a lot. For a long time it was Scarborough and everyone else, but now you've got several teams in the running, and you've had some surprising results in the early going. Falmouth is part of the SMAA now, and they're a traditional powerhouse, but they lost to Bonny Eagle earlier. Portland won at Gorham in a regional final rematch. Everyone's talking about Portland. Now they're going to be very strong this year, but they just lost to Falmouth in overtime the other night on the road. So Deering's done very well early in the season. I think it's going to be very interesting at Class A South. You're looking at 6, 7, 8 teams. I haven't even mentioned South Portland, who's off to a great start, who I think will be right there. And then on the girls' side, A South is kind of a similar story. Gorham, of course, is the defending regional champ, is very good. I think Scarborough might be the team.
And welcome back. We are live. MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. You'll be joining us on the radio side of things momentarily. Matt Boutwell, Steve Flynn, Bonny Eagle, Portland. These two teams met here last year in a much bigger game a little later on in the year, Steve.
A few more people here last year, state championship game and a rematch. I think a lot of people expected a little bit more than what might be expected here tonight. A 2-0 team against an 0-2 team. Two teams really headed in different directions. Not uncommon that you see a team that's very good play off of their best game when they're playing a team that might not be able to match the same skill set. And we'll see whether or not Bonny Eagle can come out and keep firing on all cylinders. Jim Hartman is great on the defensive side of the football. And defense is going to be what will help keep Portland in this football game.
Portland will be kicking off. You were paying attention to the coin toss there, Steve.
Bonny Eagle won, deferred to the second
deferred,
half.
Yes, because that's what champions do. Right?
Also, it's important to note, both teams prefer to be introduced. Ready?
As a team?
As a team.
No way.
We've got to do away with the introductions. We do.
Yeah. It's the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. Coaches interviews, part of Maine Athletic Fundraiser Fridays. No risks, no upfront costs, no minimums. Find out more at MaineAF.com. On the radio side of things, you're listening to the CMCC and Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Sports Time 780 and Maine's Big Z 92.7. Kick is away. Fielded at just outside the 10-yard line. That is going to be Maturo. Maturo had some solid special teams yardage last week in a big win against Wyndham. He continues here, and Bonny Eagles are going to start out by their own 38-yard line, going right to left across your radio dial. And wearing white and green on your video screens.
Nice return that time by Maturo. Only a sophomore. Had a chance to watch both teams warm up. He's actually the backup quarterback. Expect to hear a lot out of him tonight and moving forward in the future. See what the Scots offense can shuffle up and deal here on their first drive.
Spread formation. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Soroy fakes the handoff. It's going to roll out to the right. That pass is going to be complete. That's going to be Arlo Pike, the tight end. Also a very good defensive player, and he's going to make a very good offensive play there and get out past midfield into Portland territory, just inside the 50-yard line, just underway here at Fitzpatrick Stadium. Bonny Eagle already looking like a well-oiled machine.
Pike every bit of 6'2", 245, 6'4", 245 pounds he's listed out on the sheet. And I'll tell you, he's a load to bring down. Very athletic tight end.
1st and 10. That'll be a handoff. Wiggles, giggles, gets inside the 45 and down to the 43-yard line. Sprague with that run, the senior.
Tell you, Sprague is a key to this offense. That inside rush really keeps the linebackers close to the line of scrimmage, and that allows Pike to leak down behind those backers. Searoyce is a kid that can throw it. He throws the ball very well, throws the deep ball. Don't be shocked to see it.
Soroy sends a man in motion. That'll be Napolitano. He's going to fake the handoff to Napolitano. He's going to run up the middle, inside the 35, down to the 33-yard line. Soroy with a big run, gain of 10, 1st down, Scots.
Look, right now, Portland has got to generate some sort of defense or pushback off the line of scrimmage here. Bonny Eagles really doing a nice job getting off of the football on that line, establishing their blocking up front. Sprague had a big run. Pike had the big reception, and then Searoy's that time on the keeper.
Bonny Eagle looking over to the sidelines. Of course, Coach Kevin Cooper couldn't say enough good things about his team this week, but at the same time kept him level-headed. Mark of a good coach. Back to pass. Soroy looking deep. Pass is incomplete. That was intended for Cordell Menard. Saved big money at Menard's. Unfortunately, wasn't able to save the completion there. Out of bounds. Stops the clock. 10:38 remaining in the first quarter. No score.
Tough pass for Menard coming up the left-hand side. The ball was thrown kind of behind him a little bit, so he was looking back over his rear shoulder, the left shoulder. Just not a real easy catch to complete, and Searoy's off with the throw.
It's the MBR Game of the Week. Of course, you can watch us on YouTube. If Grandma or Grandpa wants to watch a game, subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube. It's that simple. 2nd and 10. Handoff. And that'll be Sprague. He bounces inside the 25, the 20, and out at the 18-yard line. Spun out of bounds there by Moss. 1st down, Scots, and they're making this look effortless with 10:30 remaining in the first quarter as they continue to march down the field.
Sprague, not exactly a small kid. He's 6 feet, 190 pounds. Again, gets good momentum that time, sets up his blocking very nicely in front of him. A very patient runner, lets that blocking develop, finds the open space. Another big gain and another 1st down there for the Scots.
1st and 10 from the 18-yard line. Soroy sends a man in motion. That's Napolitano. He'll hand it off to Napolitano, sweeps it right, cuts it upfield, and he's going to get about 1 up to the 17-yard line. 10:20 remaining, clock ticking, 2nd and 9 for the Scots.
Almost looked like he was going to throw it there. For a second, it kind of seemed like he might plant that right foot and look down the field, but it wasn't. It was just a sweep. He didn't have anywhere to go. Slowing down a little bit, pace of play here are the Scots. I think they're feeling pretty comfortable, Matty. Most of what they're dialing up has been working.
I think they're not having to dial 10-10, 220 beforehand. No. That's for sure. Sprague squirts forward, and I guess squirt would probably be the appropriate word there because he just kind of skidded in underneath inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line, gain of 3.
Pretty early here if you're the Bulldogs. You got to start thinking about trying to strip a football out. Right now, physically, you're being overmatched, and it's pretty obvious. So at this point, try to pop a ball loose, see if you can get your hand in on the nose of the football and rip it clean. Do something to try to force the momentum off because right now you're getting pushed around on your own playground.
3rd and 6. Big play here, though I would assume Bonny Eagle will probably go for this if they don't get it. Soroy takes it himself, and he's going to be stopped shy, just inside the 11-yard line. Gain of 3, and that'll make it 4th and 3. 9 minutes remaining here in the first quarter. No score. Bonny Eagle on their opening drive.
Yeah, I mean, I think Coach Cooper's very, very confident in his defensive unit that he's got over there on Bonny Eagle's side, and feels very, very good about leaving the offense in the hands of Steroids if he can't complete this 4th down conversion. They got plenty of stuff in the playbook that'll get him 3 yards.
Handoff. Sprague up the middle. He keeps churning those legs. Did he get stopped? Are they going to give it to him? It's going to depend on the spot. Looking at the far side judge, I think they're going to give it to him, but boy, it's going to be close.
I think they're going to give it to him on the forward progress. I would agree with you, Matty. That far side judge seems like he's got a good feel for it.
Tough to tell by the near side judge, so you wonder if they're going to have to bring the chains over. Nope. They're just going to tell him to flip the dial down over, and it will be 1st and goal for Bonny Eagle from the 8-yard line.
Oh, they changed their mind
no?
again.
Oh, they did? Okay, so that was a premature dial it down flip, is what you're saying.
Wrong.
Okay, all right.
That guy had it. We know what his mind is made up of, right? The
yes,
guy
he's made a decision.
He's clearly made the decision here.
No. Portland stopped him.
Wow.
8:25 remaining in the first quarter, and the Portland Bulldogs have an early 4th down stand to turn away the Scots.
So it looked like the far side judge had it marked with his foot, and then you and I were both expecting that far side judge to get the football and put it down. Instead, the near side judge got it. I wasn't even paying attention to him. Either way, short of the chains. So kudos to the Bulldogs right there. Good turnover on downs that time. Good defensive stop. Able to get Sprague early.
That will be a handoff to Nope, and Nope is right. That's about what he's going to get. Maybe a half a yard.
Whole bunch of Nopes have come through here. There's a couple of them on the roster.
Sam related to Jake, obviously. He was a big part of last year's team. Sam is a 5'9" sophomore.
Listed as a running back, he takes a lot of direct snaps, so he will throw the football. Terrian Moss not doing a whole lot of quarterbacking for the Bulldogs.
He's a very good athlete. Nice run there by Nope, but again, can't get much. Just squeaks it out past the 10-yard line by a hair, and it'll be 3rd and long. And if you're the Bulldogs, this is not where you want to be. Not too many 3rd and longs in the playbooks nowadays.
And if you're Austin Mitson, you're probably watching that over and over again, because that was one heck of a hit by that young man on Nope.
7:20 remaining in the first quarter. It's the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. Video stream at mbr.org. Subscribe at MBR Sport today and get notified when we go live. 3rd and 8. Nope, back to pass. Looking, throws, and it's intercepted and dropped. It was right in the hands. I had
88. Austin Dixon is who it was intended
Dixon,
for.
Thank you. Yes, my photocopy cut off right at the end here. That was my fault. Good play by Austin Dixon, who was actually on his knees when he caught that for a moment and then wasn't able to hang on the way to the ground. So they'll set up a 4th down for Portland.
Tell you, Pike got into the backfield that time, laid a good licking on Knopp. Helped him up anyway. Good sportsmanship by the senior.
Kick is away. Good punt. Is returnable, however, so Sprague steps back, and he's going to get spun around, and he's going to lose yardage, and they're going to blow this play dead back at the 45-yard line. We'll see where they give him forward progress to, but not a bad special teams play there by your Portland Bulldogs, if you're listening to this as a Bulldogs fan. So Portland, defense, special teams, hanging tough early. 6:53 remaining in the first quarter, no score, but Bonny Eagle takes over again in good field position at midfield.
I am expecting a little bit more sense of urgency, a little bit more edge, maybe a little bit more pressure here from the offensive unit and Coach Cooper and Bonny Eagle. Can't believe that they're happy not going down and getting a score on their first drive, so they want to get out and establish their offense here, put points on the board.
And we've already got a timeout here. Bonny Eagle will take a timeout. We will take a timeout on the radio side as well. We'll be right back over there. It's a CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Sports Time 780, Maine's Big Z 92.7. We'll be right back on the radio side. keep it here for the video side of things, of course. We keep it here for the timeouts. We try to only take breaks for big stuff on the video side,
Sometimes
of course.
some things happen during timeouts.
Sometimes
you know?
things happen
We
during
wanna talk
timeouts, so
about
we'd like to
that.
keep it here. Do want to mention the team page sponsors on MBR: Sports Fields in Monmouth, Hometown Veterinary Care, Dixon's Country Market, Magic Falls Rafting in Waterville, Asian Cafe in Winslow, Paul & Sons Garage in Lawrence. Get on your team's team page now, and MBR might come to your town. Visit mbr.org/advertising today for more details. Of course, you can listen to all the games online that we can find around the states. mbr.org. If you can't watch it, you can listen to it at MBR. Welcome back on the radio side of things. CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Sports Time 780 and Maine's Big Z 92.7. Video side of things, mbr.org from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. 1st and 10 for the Scots, and they're going to lose yardage on that play. That was a handoff up the middle, and that was handed off to number 25, Nick Thorne. .6:34 remaining in the first quarter, no score, Bonny Eagle, Portland. Bonny Eagle drove right down the field, but Portland turned them back, but then they went 3 and out on offense. Punt sent Bonny Eagle back to the 50, and that's what they take over now. 2nd and 11 back at their own 49-yard line. Saroy in the shotgun, back to pass, looking, floater, has a man, that's complete, that's going to be Sprague, inside the 30, cuts it back, inside the 25, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, touchdown, Scots, 51 yards, Saroy to Sprague.
Sprague just getting behind the defensive back, and Sirois found him at the right time, was able to deliver the football out in front of him. Sprague made the appropriate cut back to the left-hand side in the middle of the field, got a couple of key blocks along the way, and really a nice throw and catch there. Beautiful play by the Scots, and sure enough, able to break that scoreless tie.
Fog rolls in at Fitzpatrick Stadium. The Thunder roll. Hopefully no actual thunder rolling in on Portland right now. They're down 6-0, 6:07. Remaining in the first quarter. Kick is away. Kick is good. That is Napolitano doing the kicking. 7-0, Bonny Eagle with the lead. We'll keep it here. Actually, we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Welcome back. MBR Game of the Week. Video stream at mbr.org. Bonny Eagle at Portland, 7-0. Bonny Eagle with the lead. Kickoff comes back to Portland, and that is fielded by number 7, Vince Pasquale. He gets out to the 25-yard line. On the radio side of things, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Sports Time 780 and Maine's Big Z 92.7. Of course, on Sports Time at 780 daily now, you can catch the B-List Daily from 10 a.m. to noon. Local high school coaches, we've got them. Media members from Boston and all the way across New England and the country. We got those too. The B-List Daily weekdays, 10 a.m. to noon. Catch all the episodes on demand now at the official B-List Daily thread at mbr.org. 5:59 remaining in the first quarter. 7-0. Portland trails Bonny Eagle. They send a man in motion. That'll be Teron Moss. Moss will get it on a sweep with the left hand. Crosses upfield, past the 25, over to the 27-yard line. Pretty decent gain there to start off. 3 yards on that one. A lot of running, but for 3 yards. But it'll be 2nd and 7. A little bit more positive of a start to this drive than the last one, Steve.
You got to imagine if Moss can get into in some open space, maybe a pitch or a toss out on the edge, he's got a lot more opportunity to create and maybe bounce something free. Staying inside those tackles is going to be really, really difficult with this physical, athletic defense from Bonny Eagle.
Nope in the shotgun. 3 receivers to the far side, left. Nope, back to pass, looking, has a man. That's going to be complete. And not for much, though. Alex Sprague with a very nice open field tackle there on Elowich. Elowich is going to spring forward to about the 29-yard line, just shy of the 30. And that's going to set up a 3rd and 5 for the Bulldogs with 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter, 7-0 Scots.
I think that's the key. If you can stretch this Bonny Eagle defense sideline to sideline, open them up a little bit so that they can't cluster tackle, that's going to be your best opportunity, not your best win for sure, because you still got to execute at that point. Elowich, nice job on the catch there.
4:40 remaining in the first quarter. 3rd and 5. Screen, Moss, first down and much more. Out past the 39 to the 40 to the 41-yard line. Gain of 11, quick hitter screen, and that's a great way to take advantage of a great athlete like Teron Moss.
Same idea. It's what I just mentioned a couple of plays ago. You're getting him the ball in open space, and you're getting him 4 or 5 yards away from his nearest defender, so you're giving him 2 or 3 running steps to create and then read the defender and then make a move. Nice first down that time by the senior.
4:30 remaining in the first quarter. 1st and 10 for Portland. Nope, runs it up the middle. Couple of yards there, 2nd and 8. 4:20 remaining in the first quarter.
Tell you, it's one of the underestimated plays, I think, and especially in high school football, and I think in the pros as well, but the quarterback keeper or the direct snap. Reason being is 9 out of 10 times when you're playing 11-11 football, the quarterback's going to hand the ball off or he's going to throw it to somebody. Defenders aren't necessarily keying on the quarterback every time, so you can use 11 defenders to defend 10 people. When the quarterback is taking those direct snaps and rushing, you've got to play 11-on-11 football.
2nd and 8. Pitch to Moss. That'll count as a run. He's going to get past the line of scrimmage for a gain of about 2, and that'll set up a 3rd and 6 at the 44-yard line. Yeah, 3rd and 7 at the 44-yard line. We'll say, they'll mark him just shy of the 45. So we'll go with the original 3rd and 6 with 3:30 remaining in the first quarter.
It is so refreshing to see Coach Hartman go hash line to hash line. You know how many times we see a team ride one hash or the other all the way up and down the field for 4 quarters of football, and so far, Coach Hartman being able to go sideline to sideline really effectively and keeping Bonny Eagles spread out and on their heels a little bit defensively.
3rd and 6. 7-0. Bonny Eagle with a lead. Nope, back to pass, has a man, and once again, should have been intercepted, but Greg Emerson wasn't able to hang on. Stops the clock with 3:01 remaining in the first quarter. Bonny Eagle is going to force a punt from Portland, so a drive that started off promising gets snuffed out around midfield.
I'll tell you, Nico Levitt going straight down the field, and had he come back for the football, he had an advantage, a physical advantage over the DB, but he was waiting for the ball to fall into his hands and almost got it picked off in front of him.
Punt is away. And Bernard will actually field that one down the right sidelines, bounces out past the 30 and out to the 34-yard line. He was taken out of bounds there by the kicker, Elowich. 2:49 remaining in the first quarter, and Bonny Eagle takes the field up 7-0, looking to make it more on the MBR Game of the Week.
Tell you, we got here, sun was out, it was warm, it was hot, pretty hot. And slowly as that sun kind of settled down, we saw some fog come in from the ocean, and that fog has continued to settle and roll here through the field. I know some of the forecasts had called for a little bit of rain. We'll see if it plays a factor.
Of course, this field was replaced just a couple of years ago. In great shape. Handoff, Sprague up the middle. That's just what he needs. 40, 35, 30, 25, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Bonny Eagle. And that was not Sprague at all. Pardon me, that was Nick Thorne with that run up the middle. 67 yards. Thorne in the side of the Bulldogs, and it's 13-0 Scots.
Yeah, so if you had Nick Thorne in a foot race between he and Teron Moss, guess what? Thorne won. That was an impressive breakaway run that time by Thorne. As soon as he got into that second level, just put on the burners in a straight line all the way into the end zone. Moss looked like he had a chance at his heels, but just couldn't close the gap.
Kick is away. That's Napolitano up. and good. Well, Steve, we had a discussion earlier.
We did.
We may or may not be right. We'll find out about that in just a moment. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back on the Game of the Week on the radio and video side of things. 2:37 remaining in the first quarter. On the video side of things, I also want to remind you that our coaches' interviews that run during the B-List Daily on Fridays and during our pregame shows before games are a part of our Maine Athletic Fundraiser Fridays. No risk, no upfront costs, and no minimums. Find out more today about how Maine Athletic Fundraising can help you reach your fundraising goals at maineaf.com. Also, make sure to subscribe to MBR's YouTube channel, MBR Sport, and get notified whenever we go live or upload new videos. It is the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners Studios. Welcome back on the radio side of things. On the radio side of things, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Sports Time 780 and Maine's Big Z 92.7. Bonny Eagle being listened to in Standish right now on 92.7 by many that didn't make it, and they're very happy with the result right now, 14-0. However, Portland's going to get a solid special teams play here, out past the 45, plus add 15 yards for a penalty as Nick Thorne is going to get busted for a face mask. Great play on that one by number 5, Ben Stasium, the junior, and Portland in solid field position to start. Very solid field position to start. They'll be at the Bonny Eagle 40 by the looks of things.
Tell you, it didn't look like Stasium had very much room to go. He just kind of kept pitter-pattering his feet, but as he scampered out to the near side, continued to find room to run and kind of twisted as he went down. Thorne had the opportunity to try to tackle him, but got him by the face mask. So 15 yards at the end of it, and as you said, Maddie, Portland's going to start with the football at Bonny Eagle's 40-yard line here, 1st and 10.
They take a little while to mark off the penalties. It's a little 2:28 remaining in the first quarter. Make sure you stay tuned after the game to MBR Radio on Twitter. Johnny Mailer will be putting out the Spectrum Spotlight. MBR Spectrum Spotlight each week takes you inside the game and also gets you post-game interviews that you don't have anywhere else. It's MBR Spectrum Spotlight post-game after the game of the week. Pass is complete to the outside, but it's going to lose yardage. You probably would have been better off just letting that one drop. Pass was caught by Pasquale for a loss of 2, or maybe a loss of 3. That'll make it 2nd and 13 and moves it back to the Bonny Eagle 43-yard line.
Yeah. Go ahead and let that one go.
Yeah.
Go ahead and let that one go.
That's well, and I mean, if this is the league,
right,
you can pick that up and run with it. But
that's
high
right.
school and college,
nope,
they say no, which is an odd rule, and I'm not sure why they haven't fixed that.
Yeah, it's like the.
It's like, hey, if the field's too bad, too bad is really what it seems like.
Yeah, player safety.
Right. Yeah. Nope. Shotgun. Back to pass. Looking. Throws. Batted into the air. Incomplete. And there's a flag down. Pass was intended for Griffin Foley. He was blanketed, and I believe he might have been a little too blanketive, possibly stifled.
I believe so. To the in an illegal nature.
Yes.
I'll tell you, Nope does not waste any time throwing the football. He gets the ball right up to his ear and just snaps it off so quick. Not a whole lot of time to see it get developed. Oh, they're picking up the flag.
They're picking up the flag. They're saying no thank you. I wonder if it's because it hit his shoulder pad first and then the interference came.
Considered illegal mugging.
That is considered illegal mugging, apparently.
There you go.
And his wallet is still on his person.
Yep.
So
hey,
there you go.
No harm, no foul.
That's how that works. Minute 41 remaining in the first quarter. Bonny Eagle 14, Portland nothing. We'll be back here next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, only Wyndham will be battling Portland. After that, we start our Levitt series. Nope, over the middle pass. This one is picked off. That is Cordell Menard. Menard down the right sideline, cuts it back towards the right hash mark to the 20 and taking tacklers all the way down to the 18-yard line. And Bonny Eagle back in business. 1-2-3, a minute 23 remaining in the first quarter. ABC Bonny Eagle looking to get the TD now with a 1st and 10 from the 18-yard line.
We've seen 2 potential interceptions get dropped in the secondary so far. That would have been the third. had he not been able to collect it. But I think Nope was just playing with fire. Throwing over the middle like that, he didn't have a whole lot of options out there. And you got to give credit to Menard. I mean, he went up, collected the football, and right away got his eyes up the field, up the sideline, really put Bonny Eagle here in great position to get another score on the board.
Bonny Eagle will line up on the right on the far side hash mark at the 18-yard line. Siroy back to pass, looking, has plenty of time, looking still, now goes to throw it away and does. The pass was intended for Sprague, but only so that it wasn't intentional grounding. That was an intended intentional grounding. Intentional maybe?
There you go. Unintentional, intentional.
Right, yeah.
There we go. So
purposely intentional.
One of the interesting things you see in high school quarterbacks is that when they're evading the rush, they go straight back. I know you posted something on the Twitter account earlier about like an 87-yard loss earlier this week. Instead of rolling out to the near or far side and looking down the field for a throwing lane.
That'll be a handoff, and that'll be Thorne looking to get as much yardage as he did on his last run. He did not. He only got to the 15-yard line, gain of 3. Surprising score at the end of one quarter of play out of Wyndham. Lewiston 8, Wyndham 0.
Ooh. Very interesting. That Blue Devils club, I'll tell you, people just want to keep counting them out. 2-0. Oh, it's not that good of a 2-0. Well, I'll tell you what, Wyndham is nothing to sneeze at. That's a good football club. Coach Perkins brings those guys ready to play each and every week. And that's down at Wyndham, is it not, Matty?
Yeah.
In hostile territory.
Huge. That defense is opportunistic.
Yeah.
Napolitano's going to fake the handoff to Sprague, and I can actually see it. Very exciting. Gets about a yard shy. Actually, he's going to carry defenders all the way inside the 9. He had to get about halfway between the 9 and the 8 for a first down. We'll see if they give it to him. It's going to be close. We are running out of time here, however, in the first quarter. 14-0. Bonny Eagle leads Portland.
Just kind of a churning the offense at this point, the Scots are. Playing with that 14-point lead. There's no real hurry, and they'll let that first quarter run all the way out.
We will take a break. We'll be right back. 14-0, Bonny Eagle over Portland. It's the game of the week. Watch it on MBR Sports YouTube channel. Again, subscribe to MBR Sport for YouTube from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast studios. On the radio side of things, stay listening on Sports Time 780 and Maine's Big Z 927. We'll be right back.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Welcome back. MBR Game of the Week, Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth, video stream. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, MBR Sport. Radio side of things, CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Maine's Big Z 92.7 and Sports Time 780. We are at Fitzpatrick Stadium in Portland. Started the second quarter. Bonny Eagle continuing their march. They flip sides of the field now. However, 14-0 they lead. And they're looking to get into the end zone. 4th and 1 inside the 10-yard line. They're going to be on the near side hash mark. Looks like they're going to have Sprague run a wildcat formation. Sprague will do that. He's going to follow his blockers inside the 5, keeps his leg churning into the end zone. Touchdown, Bonny Eagle. They start the second quarter with a touchdown. It's 20-0 Scots.
Well, you saw it. You saw the formation. You knew it was a close down in distance, in close to the end zone. You had to imagine that they were going to try to rush so far. Thorne and Sprague, as well as Searoys, have both had their way tonight rushing-wise. That direct snap that time allowed Sprague to get into the end zone for his second touchdown. Alex Sprague trying to get that Player of the Game award.
Napolitano in to kick. Kick is up. Kick is good. 21-0, Bonny Eagle with the lead. We will keep it here, just because that's what we do. Thornton Academy, Scarborough, big game tonight. Right now they're tied at 7.
Boy, that is a big game. That is a big game. tied at 7, huh?
Owen Garrard ran it in from a yard out. Red Storm jumped out to an early 7-0 lead. Then C.J. Lebrec recovered a fumble. Actually, a Red Storm fumble led to a 19-yard touchdown catch by C.J. Lebrec. Again, all tied up at 7 in that one. Coney leads Brunswick by 6 after the first quarter. Mountain Valley leads Lisbon 8-0 with 1:45 remaining in the first quarter.
Nice to see Ryan Palmer get recognized for 10 years of broadcasting before the Mountain Valley football game earlier today.
Can't believe we've kept him employed for 10 years is really the big concern.
Wow.
And to 1, Wells leads Cape Elizabeth 7-0. Wells, however, a Class D school.
Gardner Levitt tomorrow night? Is that Saturday night?
Yes. That's the Levitt homecoming, I believe.
Okay. That's why they pushed it.
Correct. That's their annual deal.
Got the craft fair.
We, however, will be watching 2 Levitt games starting in 2 weeks. One at Yarmouth, and then the next week, Cape at Levitt. Kick is away. Fielded by Teron Moss to the 20, to the 25, to the 30. Breaks up the field. 40, 45, 50, ain't nobody going to catch Teron Moss. 30, 25, 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Bulldogs.
Wow.
88 yards on the return. And Portland, much like Pearl Jam, still alive with 11:38 remaining in the first half.
Boy, it just breathes a whole sense of life back into this Bulldogs football club. And Moss that time collecting it on his right-hand side, made a diagonal cut through the field, had a big lane that he could run through. Again, we've said it a couple of times, in open space, he's a real tough guy to get on the heels of. And sure enough, breakaway speed that time by the senior. 88-yard touchdown, an impressive kickoff return.
And to kick it will be Quinn Clark. Snap down, hold down, kick up, and good. 21-7 Bulldogs trail the Scots. 11:38 remaining in the first half here at Fitzpatrick Stadium. We'll leave it here on the Game of the Week. Old Orchard and Oak Hill are scoreless after 1. Messalonsky, Skowhegan are tied at 14. And Wyndham is now driving on Lewiston. Tanner Bernier, 49-yard run, gets Wyndham into the red zone. It's 3rd and 10 at the Lewiston 16-yard line as we speak.
So they're knocking on the door.
Yes. End of first quarter play, Madison Carabec leading Winthrop Monmouth 6-0. Marshwood leading Biddeford 21-7. Kennebunk leads Falmouth 20-12.
Wow, 21 points on Biddeford. That's a pretty good Biddeford club that we got to see last week against Brunswick. Tells you a lot about Marshwood.
Certainly does. Clark will kick off from the near side hash mark at the 40-yard line. Kick is away. Maturo will field it. Back of the 5. Bounces back to the 25, to the 30. Wiggles out past the 30 and over to the 35-yard line. Bonny Eagle takes over there with 11:28 remaining in the first half. Bonny Eagle 21 and Portland 7.
You just sense that Coach Cooper gets this Bonny Eagle football club to really play with a chip on their shoulder. One of the things you want to be careful of when you've got a team that everyone is saying is going to be so great and you're the preseason one and you're keeping that number 1 ranking is complacency. Don't let them get complacent. So right away you're telling these guys, hey, look, this team just came down and took one back on you, 88 yards. You better go out here and establish your will. Try to really push them back and see if you can't bend them backwards again. Really had them over a barrel, but now Portland back in. A big stop for the Bulldogs here could really shift this momentum for good.
Soroy, since Thorne in motion, has a man wide open. That is Menard, and nobody's going to get Cordell Menard all the way into the end zone, 65 yards. Touchdown, Scots. 3 touchdowns in less than 42 seconds here to start the second quarter.
I mean, just a easy throw and catch that time. Menard getting behind the second tier of defense. Once again, wide open. Searoy's found him early and just gave him an opportunity to go out and get it. Nothing but white lines and green grass, or green turf anyway, in front of him all the way down. I'm reminded of the stat line that I saw from the Leavitt High School quarterback last week it was like he was
Tim Albert.
3 of 4 in the first quarter for like 170 yards. I mean,
5 for 5, 273 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Have a day.
Yeah, have a day. I believe he broke the quarterback rating meter. Kick is up. Kick is good by Napolitano. Scots leading Portland 28-7. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back on the Game of the Week.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Welcome back. MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. On the radio side of things, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Sports Time 780 Maine's Big Z 92.7. Bonny Eagle and Portland have been exchanging big plays. 28-7, Bonny Eagle with the lead. 11-18 remaining in the first half. Napolitano's kick is away. It's a squibber. It'll bounce. It'll be fielded again by Moss, who just ran one back for Portland. Very dangerous. Bonny Eagle trying to do a good job of spreading him out and stringing him out. They do. He's going to be bounced back down to the 5-yard line. Good play there by Zach Maturo to keep Moss from making anything else positive out of that. Portland takes over their own 25-yard line with 11-17 remaining in the first half.
I would imagine they've made a slight adjustment on that kickoff coverage there to maybe try to pinch Moss down to one of the sidelines, use the sideline as an extra defender, really keep his running lanes narrowed as much as possible so he doesn't break another one free.
First and 10 for the Bulldogs. Nope in the shotgun. Has Pasquale next to him on the right. One receiver to the far side right. One receiver to the far side left. You get a flag. You get a whistle. Timeout. Looks like a timeout will be taken here. They say if that was a Bonny Eagle timeout or a Portland timeout.
Didn't see it.
Normally they'd point, so I just assumed maybe someone would have something to say about that, but apparently not. Well, that's going on. We'll get you some scores. By the way, remember how I told you Wyndham was in the red zone? They turned it over. Lewiston's forced 3 turnovers so far.
Wow. It's an aggressive defense. Coach Nicholas has got a group of kids there that have a real sandpaper grit to them, and people weren't quite sure what to expect out of that Blue Devils club. A lot of questions, a lot of focus on the wrong areas, but nobody really giving them a shot. And look, they're playing with the best right now.
Lawrence leads Hamden Academy 28-0. Messalonsky over Skowhegan 21-14. 8:13 remaining in the first half there. Sanford leads 7-0 over Massabesic in the second. Portland back after it. First and 10. Nope, sends a man in motion. He's going to run it himself off the left side. He's going to get hit at the 28-yard line. And that tackle was by Connor Soroy.
Heck of a tackle that time, coming up from the second level in the back position. You could see that Soroy saw the run, saw that lane open up, stepped right up into the hole, and delivered a textbook hit. Sensing that the hitting in this game is good, clean, physical hitting. Both of these teams playing with that edge.
Portland taking their time. Bonny Eagles a very good football team, so sometimes your best defense is your offense, especially if you can keep it. They're going to run the option pitch to Moss, and that's going to be picked up by Thorne, or will it be? It rumbles, it stumbles. That's going to be Napolitano who falls on it. Excuse me, no, that's going to be Will White who falls on it at the 6-yard line. And Bonny Eagle takes over in prime field position, and Portland's in big trouble, down 28-7 with 10:23 remaining in the second quarter.
Yeah, the danger with this is the fact that you got that kickoff return. You gave up an early touchdown, so now you gave up a touchdown right away. You've got the football back after exchanging a couple of quick ones. Now you've got to go down and really try to establish your offense. You got to keep in mind that Bonny Eagle will get the ball to start the second half. It's never too early to start thinking about that. turning the ball over deep in your own territory and giving them a prime opportunity to score here. Got to watch out for those backs. You don't want to have the backs broken this early. You got to get into that second half of football.
Soroy and Sprague in the backfield. Soroy back to pass, looking, has a man in the end zone. Caught over the outstretched arms.
I think it's Menard again.
Of Silo Magno.
Yep.
That was, yes, Cordell Menard with a beautiful catch on the back end of the end zone. It is 34-7, Bonny Eagle. 10 minutes still remaining here in the first half. And the Scots, well, they're playing whatever they want on the bagpipes right now.
Yeah, just whatever they've dialed up has been successful. Soroy's throwing the ball up there, guys going up, making the catches, linemen doing the blocking up front, even the kicking game.
Napolitano's kick is up. Napolitano's kick is good. 35-7, Bonny Eagle with the lead. Halftime right around the corner. Get you some scores from around the region at halftime. Of course, other games going on as well right now. Plenty of those. Also have a game for you tomorrow afternoon as Edward Little will battle Cheverus.
High on the hill. Down at Bulos Stadium.
Madison leads in their game 14-0 over Winthrop Monmouth. Eric Westcott with a 6-yard run. Old Town trails John Baps 6-2 on a botched snap. That led to a safety. Lucas Francis, 77-yard touchdown and a 2-point pass to Brandon Keith Williams pulls Lisbon to within 14-8 against Mountain Valley. Bonny Eagles' kick is away, and that'll be fielded by number 7 for Portland, Pasquale. He shakes and bakes out to the 20-yard line, and that's about where he is going to start. And the Portland offense will start with 10:09 remaining in the first half, down 35-7.
Tell you, a lot of points. That's a lot of points. 35 points that the Scots have been able to get up on this scoreboard. We're not even a couple of minutes here into the second quarter. So Portland is really going to have to try to chew some time up on this clock and pick away at the deficit that they're looking at. Long scoreboard and a long field here for the Bulldogs.
Nope. Thought he was handing it off. Wasn't. Instead, he's going to run it himself, and he's going to wish he handed it off. He's going to lose yardage back to the 14-yard line, and that looked like a big-time miscommunication. And Christian Napolitano, among others, was there to take advantage.
Huddling to the football. You're seeing guys from Bonny Eagle just swarm to the ball carrier each and every time. If it's a direct handoff from the quarterback, Bonny Eagle's sniffing it out. So far, Portland's been able to get their guys open on the edge with those little screen passes or the tosses. I was just thinking, it's a good thing they don't have a running back by the last name of Yep, right? Nope, Yep. Nope,
wow.
Yep.
What about if they had a wide receiver named Maybe?
Oh, boy.
Here we go. We've got our own Who's on First going here. 35-7. Portland trails Bonny Eagle. Pass is complete. Nice catch there by Griffin Foley. Out to the 19-yard line. Actually, out past the 20-yard line to the 21-yard line. Make it 3rd and about 6.
Hey, credit to Sam Nope. He's still out there slinging it for the Bulldogs. Wants every opportunity that he can.
She's just going to make it 3rd and 8 where they're setting the ball.
Only a sophomore is Nope, so he's got some opportunity here to really gain some experience against a talented football team and a talented defense.
Back to pass. Nope. Incomplete. Napolitano thought he had it. Didn't. Falls incomplete. Stops the clock with 8:35 remaining in the first half, and it will be 4th and 8 for the Bulldogs. And they're going to have to pump back to Bonny Eagle. Bonny Eagle looking to get that cushion over 35 because, of course, as you know, once it gets over 35 in the second half, they start running the clock. But for now, they can load up as many points as they want, and that clock will continue to stop when it's supposed to.
For now.
For now. Punt is away. Good punt. That'll be fielded by Menard. Menard bounces it off to the left-hand side to the 50, to the 45, cuts it back to the 43. Down the sideline, stays in bounds 40, 35, inside the 30, and down to the 27-yard line. And Bonny Eagle will take over Portland territory again. 8:19 remaining in the first half. First and 10 from the 27 of the Bulldogs for the Bonny Eagle Scots.
Just kind of pinballing around there between tacklers, bouncing on down through. It looked like he was going to go down 3 or 4 times, but good field position anyway.
Old Orchard Beach leads Oak Hill 8-0. Bonny Eagle still huddling. Now they're going to head in to the middle of the field.
Be interesting to see how that Thornton and Scarborough game really pans out going through 4 quarters of football. 2 very talented football teams.
One of those teams probably will meet Bonny Eagle at some point important.
Most likely. And Bonny Eagle's going to take a timeout.
Going to take one more timeout just to talk about things here. That'll be their final timeout. 35-7, 8:19 remaining in the first half. Deering misses the PAT after falling behind 6-0 to South Portland, but they tied it in the second quarter. Now tied at 6-6. Kennebunk leads Falmouth now 26-12. Scarborough turns the ball over on downs. TA gets the ball back at its own 20 in the second quarter. Still tied at 7 between those two squads. Old Orchard Beach over Oak Hill 8-0 in the second. Good job by that Portland band. Of course, tomorrow, Edward Little and Cheverus. Noon pregame. Follow it on social media, MBR Radio. Make sure you add MBR Radio on Snapchat tomorrow as well. There'll be highlights from that game there. And, of course, you can hear it on the radio on Maine's Big Z, 105.5 AM, 1240. Coach Dave Wing, Coach Mike Haley will be on the call for that one from Bowlers Field tomorrow. Soroy back to pass, complete. That is all the way down inside
Arlo Pike.
The 5, down to Arlo Pike.
I don't know why they haven't gone to him more. That first play they ran to him in the offense was, he picked up a first down. Fantastic play. He's an incredibly difficult guy to cover. Only the second time we've seen him go to them, that time, the big tight end. Looked like he might get in, but he didn't.
Soroy hands it off. Touchdown. That's Sprague right up the middle.
His third.
And that'll make it 41-7 Bonny Eagle with 8:05 remaining in the first half.
Really just not much competition up front. That's what happens. I think you sense the will in some of these Portland kids. They're struggling a little bit, and that time Sprague just walked into the end zone effectively.
Kick is down, kick is up, kick is good. No good. It was
not incomplete.
It was wide.
Almost incomplete.
You want to call it incomplete because they used the same
it's
signal.
The same signal.
For
That's
the field goal.
Yeah. Bad idea.
Yeah, I mean it's just. I'm a visual learner. That's how it works. 41-7, Bonny Eagle over Portland is the MBR Game of the Week on YouTube from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. On the radio side of things, it's a CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week. We'll replay that interview with Michael Hoffer at halftime of this one. He has a lot of stuff in there to talk about. He'll talk a little bit about this game so you know a little bit more about the players in the second half. And also, he'll talk and preview the Edward Little Cheverus game tomorrow. And he will discuss some of the local field hockey and soccer programs around the area. So,
my God.
Yeah.
Does he sleep?
I don't know when he sleeps.
Does
I don't know.
he sleep?
We'll see him tomorrow, too, over at that game. Whitehouse and Hoffer are going to be at the same field.
Wow.
Yeah. Ought to be a good time. Kick is away. And it'll be fielded by Pasquale. Outside the 30, he's going to reverse field, and going to wish he hadn't. He's going to get cut down back behind the 25. They'll probably mark him down at about the 20. Yeah, they'll mark him down right at the 25-yard line with 7:54 remaining in the first half, and Bonny Eagle leading 41-7, 34-point lead.
Tell you, there's a lot to take away from a game like this. The easy thing to do here is to pack it in. That's the easy thing to do. Mm-hmm. But Coach Hartman has got to try to find something within these players to try to dig deep here and still try to get some fundamental learning and practice here.
Nope, hands it off. And that'll be a gang tackle there. Up to the past the 30 to the 31-yard line. It was. You say Elliott? Elowich.
Elowich.
Thank you.
Elowich. I don't know what it could be. Yeah.
I'm looking down. I'm like, I don't see an Elliott on here anywhere. Yeah, there's none of that. 7:18 remaining in the first half. 41-7. Bonny Eagle to lead over Portland. Portland's only touchdown came on a Teron Moss return. Elowich busts out past the 35 out to the 40, about out to the 37-yard line for a first down. Good start to this drive for Portland.
Well, as much as we talk about complacency, you got to be careful here if you're Bonny Eagle to not just go at half speed. You still got to go full bore here. You still got to cut it loose because that's when people get hurt. That's when bad things happen when you're playing at less than everything you got in the tank.
Handoff. Nope. And he'll get tackled off the line there. That was Elowich again. Gain of about 2, 2nd and 8. I'll actually mark him just shy of the 40, so gain of 3 will make it 2nd and 7.
Tell you what, though, Elowich, only a junior. He's listed at 6 feet, 175 pounds, hitting the line fast. I mean, he's hitting it with a good amount of momentum. Good aggressive running by him. You wonder where that was in the first quarter. Didn't use him.
Handoff. Elowich again up past the 40, out to the 42-yard line. Gain of 2. It'll make it 3rd and 5.
Got to stay committed to it. That's what it comes down to. And it's easy to go to the pass when you're not getting those 7 and 8 yard gains. But you got to think about if you get 3 consecutive, you get 4 yards, you get another 4 yards, and you're left with a 3rd and 2. That's a manageable down and distance. 3rd and 5, 3rd and 6. Portland hasn't been as good with that type of down and distance here in this game. It's not quite what they can manage.
Snap. No, he's going to pass it to Foley, and he's going to get all tangled up. Greg Emerson was the first one on board. Napolitano was there after, and he's going to help him get up off the ground, but he put him there. I guess he should. That'll stop him on 3rd down, and it'll be 4th and 7.
Got to imagine, they're going to go ahead and kick it. I don't think it's much of an option to not kick it away here.
Up to the clock down, a little under 5 minutes remaining in the first half. Punt is away. It's a good one. It's a rocket. Sprague will run it back. Inside, outside the 12-yard line and get thrown down at the 11. So with 4:47 remaining in the first half, Bonny Eagle leads by 34, and they're going to try to make it more. No rhyming intended there. Before the half. And they'll get the ball to start the second half as well, just to add a little salt in the Bulldog wound.
We might not be able to see if the fog keeps rolling in here.
Will they call the game because of fog? That's the question.
No. Please, no. Not sure what the rules are in high school football in terms of calling the game. If they restart
it depends.
Or,
I guess it's a...
Great. I should have known that was going to be the answer. It depends.
It depends.
You can't find it anywhere.
Yeah, it depends. There was one a couple of weeks ago that ended in the second quarter after a rainstorm. Handoff up the middle, and there's another big run, and that's going to be Thorne to the 40 to midfield. Into Portland territory, will not be tackled. 15-10-5, touchdown, Bonny Eagle. 87-yard touchdown run for Nick Thorne. Standing 8 count for the Bulldogs. They're down 47-7.
They've got to have over 400 yards of offense here in the first half. I mean, it's just an impressive and big gains, big lanes, big holes, and impressive athleticism. 2 big runs by Thorne. 3 runs by Sprague, a couple of catches by Menard. I'll tell you what, this Bonny Eagle football team is for real.
And we thought they were okay last year.
Yeah.
Kick is down. That kick is good. That kick not incomplete, just in case you were wondering, by the way.
Complete?
Complete? Incomplete. 48-7, Bonny Eagle with the lead over Portland. 4:32 remaining in the first half. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back on the Game of the Week.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Welcome back. 48-7, Bonny Eagle with the lead over Portland on the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. On the radio side of things, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Sports Time 780 and Maine's Big Z 92-7. 4:32 remaining in the first half, and Bonny Eagle is making this not nearly as close as the state championship was last year. 48-7 here in the first half. Long kick is going to be fielded by Pasquale. Pasquale gets out to the 20-yard line, reverses field back to the 15-yard line, to the 16, the 17. Ball is on the ground. He fumbled. No. And if Bonny Eagle's on top of it, they're going to have it again. There's a big scrum for it at the 15-yard line. We'll see who came up with it. I think a Portland player ended up with it, but it's going to be close. And, yes, it will remain with Portland. Good play there by Nico Levitt to keep it into the hands of the Bulldogs before – they've already had their back broken. I'm sure they didn't want their ankles and legs done, too, on that.
The play of the game up until that point was Teron Moss's kickoff for Portland, and it was his kickoff return for a touchdown right up until the point that Nico Levitt recovered that loose ball, because that would have just been an abject disaster for this Bulldogs club. They've got to build on something. Nothing's going to change the situation that you're in, so go out, build, get better.
Redesign, rebuild, reclaim. 48-7. Bonny Eagle leads. 4:15 remaining in the first half. Here from Michael Hoffer at halftime. Nope. Fakes the handoff and is going to lose yardage back to the 10. That'll be a loss of 5. Portland doesn't it's not one of these deals where you look at it and you're like, boy, Portland looks like they shouldn't even be on the field with them. It's just Bonny Eagle's at a level right now that teams are normally at right around week 7 after a lot of practice and working around.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And I think it goes to their off-season programming, their 7-on-7 stuff. I mean, Coach Cooper is a guy that keeps these guys accountable 12 months out of the year. He stays well within the confines of what he's allowed to do, but he creates a level of accountability within each of the players on the team, and they hold themselves accountable to one another.
He talked a little bit about that in the interview that he did with me. It talked about the 7-on-7 and how important that is. That's a run up the middle there by Elowich. He's going to gain, actually that's going to be on the far side hash mark. He's going to get to the 13-yard line, gain of 3, and it'll be 3rd and 12 for the Bulldogs, down 48-7, approaching 3 minutes remaining. What do we have happen here? What do we do? Oh, there we go. Thank you. Let's not have that happen again. Mild heart attack. Pass is going to be incomplete. It was intended for Moss out by the 30-yard line, and he had to get rid of it. Nope was under pressure, and pass incomplete. 2:38 remaining in the first half. 48-7, Bonny Eagle over Portland.
Just not much going offensively for Portland at all.
They will punt it from the 1. Kick fielded by Emerson to the 40. Stays on his feet inside the 35 to the 30 and down to the 25-yard line. And Bonny Eagle, like they've gone to the buffet 5 or 6 times now, and they're like, well, nobody stopped us yet. Now at the 25-yard line of Portland with 2:25 remaining in the first half, up 48-7.
Yeah, I got to imagine Coach Cooper probably wants to put the 50 burger on here before the half if he can. He's got a couple of minutes. I don't think you can really just kind of sit down on the football here. You still want to create a competitive issue or competitive situation here for your club and still try to find a way to progress your team. Even though you're up this much, you still want to demand the most in terms of what you expect for execution here out on the field.
At the half, Lewiston leads Wyndham 14-0. Handoff, Sprague to the 23, gain of 2. That means the Lewiston Blue Devils have not allowed a touchdown in at least 6 quarters now.
And okay, so South Portland, the knock was, well, we don't know where South Portland's at for a football club. Okay, well, let me tell you what. Tanner Bernier, Jacobson, there's a whole host of offensive weapons that Wyndham has. They're a very creative football team, very talented football team. Fantastic effort by the Blue Devils.
Soroy fakes the handoff, keeps it himself inside the 20 and down to the 15-yard line, maybe the 14. Also halftime, Messalonsky 27, Skowhegan 14. Garrett Poussard scored the last Devils touchdown. Halftime between Coney and Brunswick trails 6-0 to Coney. Mountain Valley leads Lisbon 14-8 at the half. Lawrence leads Winthrop Monmouth. Madison leads Winthrop Monmouth 27-0 at the half. Handoff, Sprague inside the 15 and down. It was 3rd and 1. Minute 10 remaining in the first half. We'll see if they give it to him. Looks like they're going to.
Yeah.
I see the dial-it-down guy has made his decision, but I've been fooled by that before, and now the chains are moving.
He's officially 1 for 2 on the evening.
Correct.
Mr. Dial-it-down, you're the hero.
Cape and Wells are tied at 7 at halftime. Flag is down. Maybe too many men in the huddle.
I think. Didn't see it. Maybe a legal procedure.
Halftime up in Bangor. Oxford Hills looking to wash the taste of the Lewiston loss from last week out of their mouth. Doing a good job of it so far. 32-7 over Bangor. That was a delay of game penalty on Bonny Eagle there. That's going to move him back 5 yards. Make it 1st and 15 with 1:07 remaining. Clock ticking. 48-7. Bonny Eagle with the lead. They get a touchdown here. That's pretty much going to ensure running time for quite a while to start the second half. Soroy runs it about the 15-yard line. Approaching 50 seconds remaining. You'll hear from Michael Hoffer at halftime. Next week, we'll be right back here. Portland again. This time Portland in a Northern A battle. They'll be taking on Wyndham. That ought to be an interesting matchup. Both of these teams so far have been taken to the shed by Bonny Eagle. Handoff, Sprague doesn't gain much. Makes it 3rd and long with under 20 seconds remaining. Wonder if you're going to send out the kicker here, if you're just going to run out the half.
I think you're going to run out the half.
Or you're just going to do one more play. 5 seconds, 4 seconds, 3 seconds. 3rd and long. And they are going to throw it into the end zone. And it is intercepted by Teron Moss. It was intended for Greg Emerson, but no dice there. Halftime, Bonny Eagle leading Portland 48-7. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we will come back with Michael Hoffer for halftime. We'll come back with second half action from Fitzpatrick Stadium. It is the game of the week.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. all play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
And we're joined now by the man, the myth, the legend. You can follow him on Twitter for sports. We'll get his Patriots thoughts in just a moment. It's Michael Hoffer from The Forecaster. Catch him online at forecaster.net. Michael, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning, gentlemen. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing very good. I'd be very careful using that term gentleman here. It's pretty loose this morning here.
Yeah, that is true, yeah.
Coach Haley and Coach Wing hanging out in here this morning with us. So actually, Coach Haley's joined us for the whole show, and we were going to spend an hour and a half just talking Yankees to torture Coach Wing, but we decided instead we should talk about a couple other things.
We've given him a pretty good dose, though.
Yeah, we've given him just enough, I think.
It's mostly whining.
Yeah, which is good. You know, the first thing I want to talk about with you, Michael, is I don't want to talk about, we'll have Bonny Eagle Portland tomorrow night on MBR.org's video stream as the game of the week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. We'll talk about that in a minute because I do want to talk about the Portland Bulldogs. They've struggled to start the year. Also want to talk about the Chevrolet Stags. We got their game on Saturday afternoon. That'll be on 105.5 AM 1240 as EL takes on Chevrolet. Coach Wing, Coach Hill will be on the call for that. So I'll talk about those teams in a minute. But I did want to talk about the Chevrolet program to start. Longtime athletic director Gary Hoyt announced in July he was going to retire, and then yesterday his replacement was named.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, and the new athletic administrator at Chevrolet is Amy Ashley. She was a coach, a very successful field hockey coach there for many years. She was also Gary Hoyt's assistant athletic director for many years before moving on to Yarmouth for a couple of years where she filled the same role for Susan Robbins and coached the softball team to a state title in 2015. Coached the field hockey team last year to the regional finals. So she's had a lot of success as a coach. This is her first time as an administrator. Obviously, Chevrolet is very near and dear to her heart, and she's excited to, as she said, be coming home. It's a new era at Chevrolet. Gary Hoyt's been there in one capacity or another for 43 years.
Wow.
It's longer than you've been alive, Maddie, right?
I know, Maddie.
only 4 years, actually, longer. Yeah.
Yeah, so pretty remarkable, and exciting new era beginning there. And I know that it kind of been in limbo over there without an athletic director for the first couple of weeks of the season. So I know they're excited to get someone in place, and someone that Chevrolet is near and dear to her heart. It makes it even better.
So is Gary on site? Is he still doing it until?
Well, Gary's still filling in. You know, my experience with old athletic directors is they never completely fade away.
It's true.
They come back as assistant coaches, they come back and run the clock, they come back and drive buses. You'll see Gary, I think, on the sidelines of games occasionally, or
somebody's got to replace those divots on that field.
Right, and the players usually have to do that after the game. But he certainly is as synonymous with Chevrolet as anyone has ever been. So I don't think we've seen the last of him by any means.
Because we have that game on Saturday, and I send him the email. Normally he gets right back to me, so I don't know.
Yeah, now you've...
What's up with that?
Now, well, we'll find out. September 21st, I believe Amy takes over. Will be her first day.
Exactly.
Yeah, I read that yesterday somewhere. I can't imagine.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
I'm glad you're keeping up on your reading.
Somebody who's really in the know.
Yeah, somebody who would know these sorts of things so far. So we're kind of up here. We're in the obviously being in the Lewiston Auburn area. We're just kind of marveling at the fact that Edward Little and Lewiston are 2-0 for the first time in a very, very long time.
Yeah, you weren't expecting that, huh?
It's like it's raining cats and dogs. Up is down, left is right. It's just the Northern A. When we did the reclassification a few years ago, we just assumed it would be Portland, Chevrolet, and Wyndham, and everybody would be chasing them for the rest of it. Seems like it's kind of flip flop this year. What's going on? We're gonna have Bonny Eagle Portland on Friday night. What's going on with the Bulldogs this year?
Well, before I get to that, this is great, really. Because we've talked about this for a few years, how you could pencil in Portland and Wyndham and Chevrolet, and the schools up in your area, frankly, didn't have a chance in a lot of those games. And we all want to see more competitive games. We all want to see new blood. So the fact that you're seeing Lewiston and Edward Little and Oxford Hills emerging as legitimate contenders, I think it's a great thing. I really do. So as far as Portland goes, I don't think they're far off. You look at their first two games. The first game, they were tied at halftime. They had a couple big plays. They had the ball at the end with a chance to win and couldn't drive down the field against Oxford Hills. Last week, they just dug a pretty deep hole, and again, they almost came back. This is just a really young team, and not just the fact that we're talking about a lot of sophomores playing, but
do they have that big play? Do they have that big play person like they've had?
That's the problem. I mean, there is no Joe Esposito or Dylan Boldup running the ball this year, not yet. They've got a few players that can make things happen. They've got some stud athletes on that team. You've got Sharon Moss and Griffin Foley on the field. I mean, that right there makes Portland dangerous. They just unlike the last couple of years, they don't have an established quarterback. They don't have an established running back. And I think until they get to that point, they're going to struggle putting up points. But this is such a proud program, and Coach Hartman and Coach Rutherford and that staff. I can't imagine practice is too much fun right now when they're 0-2. They haven't been 0-2 in a long time. So, look out. I think they're going to turn it around eventually and be a dangerous team by the end. I don't think that turnaround is going to happen Friday night, though.
Think they maybe working a little bit harder in practice, Mike?
Yeah, I mean, you can imagine what those practices look like.
Yep, I can.
They're probably similar to the Patriots' practices.
Yes, I'm sure in many ways, they probably are very similar.
It's very similar. Cheverus, of course, fell on opening night. They're going to be taking on Edward Little Saturday afternoon. Let's talk a little bit about the Cheverus Stags and what we can expect in that one. It's not often that Edward Little goes on the road to Cheverus and is considered the favorite.
No, and it's probably the first time. Yeah, the Cheverus team, let's face it, they took it on the chin on opening night. They lost 24-0 at Wyndham, and really some uncharacteristic mistakes early cost them. Fumbled snap, they had another fumble. Next thing you know, you're down a couple touchdowns, so they never had a chance. Last week, they handled Bangor from start to finish. So I really feel like this week's going to be the true barometer of what kind of Cheverus team this is. They looked good last week, but they played a Bangor team that's struggling. Let's see how they do against an Edward Little team that's doing really well and playing with a lot of confidence. The fact that Cheverus is at home makes me think they're going to come out and play a good game. I have not seen Edward Little in person yet, so looking forward to seeing how they look. I think that has the potential of being a very, very exciting game on Saturday. But I still think Cheverus, by the end of the season, they're a team that can be in the running for that regional title. They've got a very good running game. They've got a very good line. That line is led by Zeb Levitt. He's the wrestling champion for the heavyweight in Class A. He kind of sets the tone both offensively and defensively for that team. They run the ball. They really don't throw the ball much, but of course that's kind of a Cheverus tradition. You might see them complete a few passes a game, even during their championship years. So as long as you have the running back and they're able to move the ball that way, I think they're going to be effective. And this is another team that's just kind of getting up to speed like Portland. I think, if they could win this game Saturday, it would really propel them nicely going forward. But I think they're going to be a team that you're going to hear from as we go along.
I've seen EL play last Friday night against Portland, and defensively, they're bringing everybody. They are putting, 8 in the box, and they're saying, go ahead, try to throw the ball, because we're going to tackle a quarterback before it happens.
Right, and and they can certainly sell out against the run against Cheverus, because that's pretty much all they do, or that's all they have done. So you will see if Cheverus adjusts, maybe mix in a few play action passes and tries to catch them that way. So the battle up front, I think, will be very fascinating in that game.
Mike, I saw the Wyndham game against Cheverus, and Wyndham had a lot of success because they really attacked the gaps on defense. I mean, they just went after people up front. Do you think Cheverus is going to be able to withstand that type of an approach if anybody else does it to them?
Well, I'm sure they've learned. Obviously, this is a very knowledgeable coaching staff. You've got John Wolfgram as the defensive coordinator, so just having him, I've got to believe, adds a huge amount to the preparation, and that they'll be ready. I think they'll make adjustments. It's a question of how well they'll execute, and that's why we're going to show up there at that Blue Stadium on Saturday to find out. Because we can speculate all you want. I think it's really a fascinating matchup. And like I said, I think it's going to tell us a lot about Cheverus. It'll tell us a lot about Edward Little. If they get out of Cheverus with a win and they're 3-0, they're going to be sitting very pretty at the early stage of the season.
Let's talk a little bit about some of the other sports, because I know you're not just a football guy. You've got soccer, you've got field hockey, all sorts of things happening down there. Southern part of the state right now, soccer-wise, of course, we pay attention to a lot of the E.L. Lewiston stuff up here because that's, pretty big rivalry. But who are some of the teams, soccer and field hockey-wise that are off to good starts that we should be looking out for?
Well, Yarmouth boys team is obviously, they might be the class of the state regardless of the class. They've won the last 3 Class B titles. This might be the best team they've had. And they've certainly started in a very powerful way. They score goals with abundance. They've got some college-level players on that team. They've got some kids who are going to play at the next level. And they're looking very, very strong in the early going. Class A boys has changed a lot. For a long time it was Scarborough and everyone else. But now you've got several teams in the running, and you've had some surprising results in the early going. Falmouth is part of the SMAA now, and they're a traditional powerhouse. But they lost to Bonny Eagle earlier. Portland won at Gorham in a regional final rematch. Everyone's talking about Portland, how they're going to be very strong this year, but they just lost to Falmouth in overtime the other night on the road. So Deering's done very well early in the season. I think it's going to be very interesting at Class A South. You're looking at 6, 7, 8 teams. I haven't even mentioned South Portland, who's off to a great start, who I think will be right there. And then on the girls' side, A South is kind of a similar story. Gorham, of course, is the defending regional champ, is very good. I think Scarborough might be the team to beat this year. They're loaded. They've got a lot of great goal scorers, and that's a program that it's been a few years now since they've been to the state game. They're very, very proud. Falmouth, new to SMAA, has been competitive. Class B, like on the boys' side, Yarmouth is the defending champ. They have the best player in the state without a doubt, Sarah D'Apollonia, who's going to play at Delaware. So this is her senior year. She has 13 goals in 5 games, and they're off to a sizzling start there. So both Yarmouth soccer teams looking terrific. On the field hockey side, seen some really good games in the early going. Massabesic, they're the defending regional champ in A South. They just won a close game at Cheverus the other day that I covered. Cheverus looking very good too. No one really talking about Scarborough this year, which is weird because they're traditionally the team to beat. For many years it seemed like it was going to be Scarborough and Skowhegan in the state game every year. But not a lot of buzz around the Red Storm coming into the season, but they're off to an undefeated start. They've got a big game tomorrow at Westbrook, battle of 5-0 and 4-0 teams. I'll be at that one. So, a lot of good teams there, and it seems like there's a little more and more parity in soccer and field hockey. It's certainly in Class A. You're not in B as much as York is still the dominant team. I think their win streak's at 58 right now. But a lot of good teams in the area, and it should make for a fun regular season and postseason.
Mike, do you feel that the teams that play on the turf have an advantage over teams that don't, as far as the overall game and so forth?
Yeah, I think unquestionably, and you certainly see it in field hockey, where you can just whack the ball down the field, and you get a truer roll, a truer balance, and you get that in soccer too. I don't think it's as actually, I think the teams that play on grass might have an advantage in a reverse way, because when you're used to playing on turf and suddenly you have to contend with grass, I think it's really a mental block for a lot of these turf teams, and they'll go all out to avoid having to play on the road on the grass in the playoffs. So it's kind of in their head. I think teams that play on grass and then get a chance to play on turf, they look forward to that. It's a positive thing. But yeah, I think it certainly is an advantage.
That used to be the same phenomenon about the teams that played Friday night.
Right.
It's so great to play at Friday night if you don't have lights. That it's really almost an advantage that way. And when they came to your place on a Saturday, hot fall Saturday afternoon, they would toast because they're used to playing at night. It's interesting how that works.
Yeah, we're all creatures of habit, right? I mean, so you don't like to necessarily change that up, and it affects some players and some teams more than others, certainly.
All right, so we've talked the high school stuff. Michael's going to join us each Thursday now, 11:30.
Yes, look forward to that.
Which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, me too.
This
means the good old days.
Yeah, it is. It's just like the good old days. I'm thinner and my beard's whiter now. Is really what it boils down to, Michael.
You're a lot thinner.
Yeah, it's funny. Coach Hiller's like, a little gray in that beard. I'm like, no, that's white. That's just straight white at this point.
A lot of gray in mine too. I hear you.
That's just how it goes. We've been nailing this down for almost a decade, Michael. I looked at that today. I'm like, wow, this is quite a bit of time. Patriots last Thursday night. What the hell was that?
Well, let me tell you, the tailgating and the pregame was awesome.
Well, that's good.
Everything after that, I feel, just was a haze. And everyone forgets they're winning going into the fourth quarter, and they left probably 17, 21 points on the board in the first half.
Tons of them.
Yes, I mean it was a terrible fourth quarter, and there's a lot to pick at. I'm usually the biggest pessimist. I'm not going to panic yet. I think there's definitely areas for concern. Defense, yes, the front seven is a big, big concern. The offense, this unstoppable force that we thought we had a month ago, suddenly it seems a lot more mortal with some of these pieces missing, and I'm guessing Amendola's going to be out now for a while. So it's not going to be as easy as people thought, but you look at the rest of the league, and I guess that gave me a little comfort on Sunday and Monday night. You look at the rest of the league, and no one jumps out to make me think, all right, the Patriots have no chance against this team or that team. So, in Bill we trust, in Tom we trust. I'm hoping they find a way. It won't be easy to win in New Orleans, don't get me wrong. That's going to be a tough game. But they should win it, and I think if they do win it, then all will be right with the world. It's never as easy as people think it's going to be in the off season. I think all the 19-0 talk was stupid. I think this talk of them being invincible and the greatest team ever was stupid. And I think maybe in some small way, Coach Belichick, was probably happy that all that is off the plate now. And with a loss, he can get everyone's attention and say, "See, I told you guys, you're not anywhere near as good as you think." And hopefully everything gets back on track.
He'll use that for sure.
Hopefully.
Oh yeah, well totally.
He'll use that.
And they've never been a September team. They're a December and January
team.
They
treat it like an extended preseason. I remember the 2014 Super Bowl team. They were 2-2, and they looked terrible. And then they were phenomenal the rest of the way. So I don't think one game you can panic yet. 0-2, maybe you can start panicking a little.
It depends. We'll see. Like you mentioned, I mean, this is the lowest scoring opening weekend in in recent NFL history.
Yeah.
I think in well over a decade.
Right.
Just some terrible football played on Sunday. So
right, and they had 27, and probably should have been in the 40s. I mean, that could have been a 45-42 game, and had they executed early, it would Kansas City would have never come back anyway.
Right.
That place was rocking after the fumble and after Gronk's catch. It looked like it was 14-0. I mean, that place Kansas City was done had that stood, and it didn't. And then they didn't get the 4th and 1, and then all of a sudden KC had life. So I don't think it's as dire as some people do, but I might be singing a different tune next Thursday.
Michael Hoffer from The Forecaster. You can catch him on Twitter. It's 4Sports, F-O-R-E Sports. And, of course, you can catch him at The Forecaster, theforecaster.net, and pick up copies wherever you might pick up The Forecaster down in your region. Michael, thank you very much.
Thanks, Mike.
I'll see you on Saturday because I'm heading down there, too.
We'll see you on Saturday.
I mean, what else am I going to do? Hang out with my family or something? I mean, come
no,
on.
You don't want to do
There's
that.
a game at Chevrolet. I might as well at least show up.
Yeah, buying the popcorn.
Yeah.
Yeah, should be a nice day. I'm looking forward to it, and as always, thanks for having me. I look forward to seeing you guys.
Thank you very much, Mike. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center, Central Maine Orthopedics, OA Centers for Orthopedics, all playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Welcome back to Fitzpatrick Stadium in Portland. It's the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. Of course, a reminder that coaches' interviews and media interviews are part of our Maine Athletic Fundraiser Fridays. No risk, no upfront costs, no minimums. Find out more at maineaf.com. That's maineaf.com. You can also subscribe to MBR's YouTube channel, MBR Sport, and get notified whenever we go live or upload new videos. Start of the second half about to get underway here. I want to thank Michael Hoffer for joining us. Of course, you can catch him tomorrow. Also, Randy Whitehouse tomorrow. They'll stop by the broadcast as Coach Wing and Coach Haley will broadcast Edward Little Chevrolet noon tomorrow on 105.5 AM 1240. On the radio side of things here, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Sports Time 780 and Maine's Big Z 92.7. Also remind folks that the MBR All-Star Weekend is happening November 18th and 19th. To nominate players or accept an invitation, visit MBR.com. Matt Boutwell, Steve Flynn with you here at Fitzpatrick Stadium. We'll be back here next week as Wyndham will be battling Portland in a Northern A battle. And right now, Wyndham trailing Lewiston at the half, 14-0 because of turnovers. Here, Bonny Eagle has had their way with Portland throughout, 48-7. We are in running time, so when the ball is kicked, we'll be underway.
When the ball is kicked, the clock will tick. Go ahead, Matt.
Yes. Oh,
Go
wow.
ahead.
Oh, well done.
See, you missed that.
Well done. I missed that. I missed that so much. That kick is fielded by Sprague. By the way, happy birthday to Alex Sprague.
Did he wear the tuxedo here?
I don't know.
We didn't see. Deshaun Watson wore the tuxedo to the game last night, his game with the Texans last night, and had a heck of a game, went away with a victory. We'll see whether or not Sprague. 3 touchdowns. I know he wants his part in the player of the game anyway. Does he get bonus points for player of the game if it's your birthday?
I feel like he should get some type of cupcake or something, at least, something.
I'd agree.
1st and 10 at the 34-yard line for Bonny Eagle. Soroy and the starters still in there. You wonder how long that will be going on.
Yep. 1 series, maybe.
Maybe 2.
1 drive, yeah.
Soroy in the shotgun. You wonder if they're going to be doing a lot of passing, and sure enough, they do. Out to Napolitano on the screen, out to the 40-yard line. See, when there's a running clock, you can still. One thing I do like about the running clock, that's a gain of 6, 2nd and 4. You can still run your entire offense. You don't have to feel like you're constricted to running, so you can practice these plays and you can get these reps. And even if the pass goes incomplete or you go out of bounds or whatever, the clock still runs.
Well, it's interesting. You think about it as a means by which you can, progress the game away, and that does allow you to happen. But in this instance, Bonny Eagle's allowed to open up their offense a little bit.
Soroy gets tackled at the 40-yard line. Actually, the 41. And that'll make it 3rd and 4. They got to get to the 3rd and 3. They got to get to the 44-yard line for a first down.
Juniors and sophomores, this is a tremendous time to get out there and prove yourself, especially on the Bulldog side of the football here. In a lopsided game, it says a lot about your character to get out there and fight in this game.
Soroy fakes the option. He's going to run it up the middle himself, and I think he's going to carry tacklers past that first down marker. He will, out past the 45-yard line. 9:55 of the clock ticks. It's first down for Bonny Eagle. 48-7, they lead Portland.
And same sort of deliberate pace that the Scots have had all game long. They're going to do what they do and just continue to hone in their skill set. Make no bones about it here. Portland is not laying down for the Scots. They're definitely doing what they can. It's a very talented football team.
If you're going to spar with somebody, you better spar with somebody good. Napolitano, speaking of good, takes that run down to the 41-yard line. That'll be a gain of 14 and a first down for Bonny Eagle.
So many weapons. You got to know where Sprague is going. You got to have an eye on Arlo Pike. Is he going to run a passing route? You got to keep an eye on Seroy's, and then all of a sudden Napolitano's breaking one to the edge, or Thorne's gutting one up the middle. So a bunch of talented guys, a lot of different people, and that causes that slight hesitation on the defensive side and gives the advantage to the guys in green and white.
Soroy in the shotgun. Handoff, Sprague up the middle, 35, and down to the 33-yard line is where he'll spin.
And even in this series, Matty, you're just seeing chunks of yards, 4 and 5 yards at a time, just slowly kind of churning the football down the field. Portland just not having much of an answer.
Brunswick just give up another touchdown to Coney. They trail 12-0. Lawrence leads Hammond Academy 47-6. 48-7 here. 8 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Soroy's going to keep it himself inside the 20, cuts it back to the 20, to the 15, and down to the 14-yard line. Gain of 17 for Bonny Eagle, and another Scots first down.
Churn. staying in between the tackles here, just sticking with that rush offense. And we talk about the skill players, we talk about the Thorns, the Spragues, the Sierra. It's those big linemen up front that are really getting it done here for the Scots.
Final, Marshwood over Biddeford, 35-21. That's right, I said final.
Wow. Final.
Soroy's, the snap to Soroy is low. He has to go down and get it, and then he gets crunched. Little frustration sack there by Ben Levine.
What's the over-under on passes thrown in that Marshwood-Biddeford game? 10?
I'm going to guess maybe 6.5.
Right. I mean, you've got two option offenses, and that's what happens. It's just a rush-heavy game, and the clock just melts away.
Morse leads Yarmouth 14-8 at the half. Foggy between Wells and Cape Elizabeth as well. Scarborough and TA tied at 7 at the half. MCI leads Belfast 39-0 at the half. Madison with 318 total yards leading Winthrop at the half. Soroy, handoff. Sprague up the middle, cuts it back into the end zone. Touchdown, Scots.
Number 4.
Happy birthday, Alex Sprague.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday.
And
one happy birthday for every touchdown you have, young man.
That's exactly what it is.
Wow.
And it's 54-7, Bonny Eagle with the lead. Napolitano in to kick. Kick is up. Kick is good. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back. 6:29 remaining in the third quarter. Bonny Eagle leads game of the week 55-7.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All play on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedics.
Welcome back. On the video side of things, it's the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. A reminder, our coaches' interviews and pregame interviews are brought to you by Maine Athletic Fundraising and part of our Maine Athletic Fundraiser Fridays. No risk, no upfront costs, no minimums. Find out more today at maineaf.com. 55-7, Bonny Eagle with a lead running time here in the second half. Ball is kicked to Pasquale. Pasquale out past the 25, over to the 28, cuts back, drop down, and Portland will take over at their own 28-yard line here in the third quarter. On the radio side of things, welcome back. CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week on Sports Time 780 and Maine's Big Z 92.7. Of course, you can listen to these games at MBR.org. You can watch these games at MBR.org as well. Just subscribe to MBR Sport on YouTube. 6:20 and clock ticking here in the third quarter, 55-7. Bonny Eagle with the lead. Alex Sprague's birthday, and he's celebrating with touchdown after touchdown after touchdown after touchdown. I think I got all four in there.
I think you got them all in there.
That's it. All right. And that snap is not great. Nope, has to go back and get it inside the 10 and down to the 7-yard line. And that's going to make it, let's see. They were at the 28. They got to get to the 38 for a first down. They're going to be back at the 8-yard line. Yes. So that's going to make it 2nd and 30 with 5:30 remaining in the third quarter.
Not helping themselves out, that's for sure.
Nope, in the shotgun, hands it off. And ball is lost. It's picked up into the end zone. Touchdown, Will White. Will White with the defensive score, and Bonny Eagle now has dropped the 60 burger at 61-7.
Wow. I mean, just a completely dominant performance here tonight by the Scots. That's all you can say. It's you take away that kickoff return by Moss, Maddie, and Portland just hasn't done much at all. It's been a hugely lopsided physical event, And right then and there, deep in their own territory, Portland coughs it up. And not only did they cough it up, but give up 6 more points.
Extra point is no good. Only 2 missed extra points tonight. Not something you see very often. 5:12 remaining in the third quarter. Bonny Eagles 61. Portland 7. There's 21-7 at one point, folks. Just an FYI.
Yeah.
Wells 14-7 over Cape Elizabeth. 7:04 left in the third quarter. Scarborough leads Thornton Academy 14-7 with 7:40 remaining in the third there. Owen Garrard with a 15-yard touchdown run. Madison leads Winthrop Monmouth 33-0. Still don't really know what you're going to get on a week-to-week basis with a lot of these teams.
Well, you talked earlier in the pregame about some of the reclassification and sort of what we would expect. We expect the Wyndhams, the Chevresses, but week to week it seems to catch us by surprise.
Kick is away, and that'll be fielded by number 5, Ben Stasium, excuse me, up to the 39-yard line.
Levine, that's from a couple years ago.
Different Levine.
Yeah.
I had my Bens confused there. There's another Ben that was Levine. It's all right, though. Jacobson, 1-yard touchdown run for Wyndham, cuts the Lewiston lead to 14-6, 4:07 remaining in the third quarter.
How about that? So they went 6 quarters without giving up a touchdown,
6
right?
quarters without giving up a touchdown. That's pretty good in Northern A.
6 and change, really.
Yep. Scarborough takes over again for Thornton Academy at the TA 37-yard line after an interception. Nope, in the shotgun, and that'll be Elowich who takes it almost on the direct snap. Big run out to the 45-yard line, gain of 7, and that'll make it 2nd and 3. Good start to that drive for Portland, down 61-7 with 4 minutes remaining in the third quarter.
You gotta try to change it up. You've got to try to do something a little bit different. You certainly can't do what you've done for the first 3.5 quarters.
You got to do something to build off of it for next week because you got a big matchup next week. Look, as much as it hurts on this game, you got to start focusing on next week a little bit. Handoff, nope. Over the 45. Looked like he lost the ball, but they're going to call him down.
Yeah, they had him down on his back. Well, the first thing that I thought of when you started talking about getting ready for next week, keep guys healthy. You know, let's keep guys healthy. You don't want somebody getting hurt in a game that's a 50-point game. We'll see whether or not either coach goes to some of the second-team guys. It looks like most of the first-team guys are still out on the field for both clubs. No, I am seeing some second-team guys, in the secondary for Bonny Eagle. Arlo Pike no longer in the game defensively either.
Nope, hands it off. Elowich up the middle to midfield. He might have grazed into Bonny Eagle territory just a hair. .250 remaining in the third quarter. Bonny Eagle 61, Portland 7. First and 10 for the Bulldogs.
I think we had a player had a little bit of blood on his jersey, so official had to send him off.
Luckily, there are other players to fill in for him in this situation. They'll get that taken care of.
And we'll get the chains moved. We'll just kind of take our time. Here we go.
Handoff. And that'll be Elowich with a nice play down to the 41-yard line, knock it over Will White. Then Will White just kind of taps him as he gets knocked over.
Poor Sam Nope. All night he's been harassed by Arlo Pike coming off of the edge at the DN position and bumping into him, snapping him a couple of times after getting rid of the football. He's hit him several times. That time Nope handed the football off but had Napolitano right in his face, and you could see him kind of buck back. A little bit gun shy, waiting for that DN to peel him back.
2nd and 2, minute 30 remaining in the third quarter, 61-7. Bonny Eagle lead over Portland. Handoff, Moss. Stop for no gain. A lot of yardage running backwards, though, but that won't show up in the scorecard.
A lot of running, very few yardage. Yeah, there's a lot of running for very little yardage. That's a great way to put it, Matty. A lot of effort.
It's like running on a treadmill, you know. You're not getting any. You're doing a lot of running, but you're not going very far.
You are net ground gain, 0.
0.0.
Yes, sir.
Under a minute remaining, actually under 45 seconds remaining here in the third quarter. This might be the final play of the third quarter. Bonny Eagles 61, Portland 7, 13 points scored by the Eagles here, including a defensive touchdown. Nope's just going to dive forward with the Tom Brady sneak, and that's going to be enough for a Portland first down. Under 30 seconds remaining in the quarter, and my guess is that's going to be the final play of the third quarter. But we'll wait for it to be official here as Nope looks over to the sidelines. Moss will be bringing in the play, and it looks like he's just going to hang out for a little bit here. Under 10 seconds. They are going to hustle up to the line, but I don't know if they're going to get the play off in time. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and that will not be in time. We'll take a quick break, and we'll come back with fourth quarter action. Bonny Eagle looking to finish it out against Portland. I think they can probably do it. 61-7. We'll be right back on the Game of the Week.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedic.
Welcome back. MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth at Fitzpatrick Stadium in Portland, Maine, right next to Hadlock Field, home of the Portland Sea Dogs. 61-7, Bonny Eagle leads Portland. We're in running time, start of the fourth quarter here at Fitzpatrick Stadium. On the radio side of things, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week. Of course, you can listen to all the games online at mbr.org, including games on 100.7 The Ox, 105.5 AM 1240 Maine's Big Z, and on 96.9 AM 1450 The Mighty Ox, along with the Game of the Week on Sports Time 780 and Maine's Big Z 92.7. Again, listen to it online at mbr.org. Watch the video stream as well on MBR's YouTube channel, MBR Sport. Be notified when we go live like we are right now. Start of the fourth quarter, clock will run for the next 12 minutes. 61-7, Bonny Eagle with a lead over Portland. Alex Sprague, it's his birthday, and he's partying like it is. 4 touchdowns for the Scots. 1st and 10 for Portland. First team offense still out there. Pitch to Moss off the side. Moss has had a good night so far. 30, 25, 20, 15. He breaks in through the 15 and down to the 11. Yes, to the 11-yard line. That'll be a gain of 28 yards, and Teron Moss has been one of the bright spots for Portland with a kickoff return touchdown earlier and some offensive plays as well.
He's been the star. He's been the lone offensive star. He's been a star on special teams. We've seen him make a couple of key plays on defense. That time had an opportunity to break another one down, get his second touchdown of the game, but Bonny Eagle, if they can, you got to imagine Coach Cooper. He knows without question that his defensive unit has not given up a touchdown. Special teams has given up a touchdown, but the defense has not.
Nope. Pass complete. Griffin Foley into the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs. 12-yard touchdown. And Portland makes it double digits. 61-13. Good play there.
I love the fact that the kids are still out there and still giving that level of effort and just trying to make the most out of the situation that they're in. Nobody wants to be in that situation, but still fully able to get out there, get the ball, and put another 6 on the board for the Bulldogs.
Quinn Clark will be in for the extra point. Snap down, hold down, kick up, and it is good. Portland gets on the board. It's now 61-14. Bonny Eagle with the lead. Clock continues to run with 10 minutes remaining in the fourth quarter. Get some scorers from around the region in just a moment, of course. Tomorrow we'll have Edward Little and Chevers for you on the radio side of things on 105.5 AM 1240. We'll have Snapchat and video social media coverage on the MBR Radio Twitter page and Snapchat page. Jason Montano with a 1-yard touchdown run for Thornton Academy. Scarborough and Thornton Academy tied at 14 in the third. After 3 quarters of play, Lewiston leads Wyndham by a score of 14-6. Wyndham has the ball at midfield to start the fourth quarter. Lisbon leads Mountain Valley 22-20. 1:06 left in the third on that one. And Madison continues to lead Winthrop Monmouth, now 41-0 there. Usual suspects back deep for Bonny Eagle. Clark will kick it off from the 40. We'll have Wyndham and Portland here next week. Kick is away. And it'll be fielded by Maturo. And he'll get out to the 18-19 yard line. And that's where Bonny Eagle will start.
Tackle on the play made by Josh Pike, and he's getting a whole host of attention over on the sideline. The senior getting in on a special teams play, making a big tackle there.
Coney leads Brunswick now 19-7 late in the third quarter. Sanford leads Massabesic 14-7 with 7 left in the third quarter.
Timeout, Portland.
8:07 remaining in the fourth. Portland's going to take a timeout. Lawrence leads Hamden Academy 54-6. And that is at the end of 3 now between Lisbon and Mountain Valley. 22-20 Lisbon with the lead. Mountain Valley has the ball first and 10 at midfield. Halftime score, Messalonsky still leading 27-14. TA and Scarborough still tied at 14 in the third.
So you're getting some changes now. Mike Rutherford out, defensive coordinator for the Bulldogs. And pushing some guys out and bringing some of the second-teamer guys in here to get them some experience.
Portland Bulldog trying to get some people jazzed up.
My guess is the reason they called the timeout, Matty, is they saw something over on the Bonny Eagle side that maybe they might be going to the twos. We'll see.
Again, tomorrow, make sure you stay tuned to MBR Radio on Twitter and Snapchat. We'll have coverage for you from the Edward Little Chevrolet game, and you can listen to that game on 105.5 AM 1240 or online at mbr.org.
Just what's happened. Maturo is going to be the quarterback for the Scots. They're going to go to the second-teamers here. 2s on 2s.
We should probably start banning flash photography at these games.
Is the clock still running?
No. It will be as soon as they snap this ball, though. Probably as soon as Coach Hartman gets off the field.
That's Coach Rutherford
or
telling
Coach Rutherford,
these guys where to go. Yeah.
That's going to be a handoff to White, who scored the touchdown defensively earlier. He's going to bust out inside the 30, out past the 40. He high steps over midfield to the 35, to the 30, to the 25, and he's going to be taken down at the Portland 15-yard line. Big run for Will White, not letting Alex Sprague take all of the fun on his birthday. And Bonny Eagle looking to add more on the ledger.
Boy, he got away, then he kept on going. It seemed like a couple of guys got to his heels, and he kept on going, and he kept on going, just kept on breaking that momentum. Looked like he was going to get all the way into the end zone, but he just couldn't get it.
Handoff again, and that goes around into the end zone. Touchdown. That's number 33, Nate Ferris, riding the wheel into the end zone, the 6-foot sophomore. 67-14, Bonny Eagle on Portland.
How many points did Levitt put up last week? 73?
73.
So that's the bar for this year, right?
At this point, yes.
I guess if you want to call it that.
Kick is up by Napolitano, and the kick is good. (68-14), Bonny Eagle with the lead over Portland. Clock continues to run with 6:15 remaining in the fourth quarter.
See if we can find any other scores here. MDI 43, Bucksport 22, end of the third. End of the start of the fourth quarter, Old Town trailing 18-8 against John Baps.
Not enough people using the ME Sports hashtag in my mind.
Don't know why.
43-22, you're right. Mesolonsky now 27-20 over Skowhegan with 11:52 to play. End of three quarters, Wells still leads Cape 14-7. Kick by Napolitano is away. It'll be fielded by Moss. Bounces back to the 10. He'll field it back inside the 9. Now he hops, skips, jumps back at the 11-yard line. Almost lost the football. Cuts back inside the 15. And now he's going to be taken down back at the 10-yard line. About 5 minutes remaining here and the clock ticking in the fourth quarter.
Boy, you could tell that Moss thought that he had a couple of options, but trying to move before he actually had possession of the football and just couldn't get too far. Now he's going to be deep in Portland territory, and that's going to put him in a real unlikely position.
Jarrett Flaker with a 28-yard touchdown run, and Scarborough has the lead on Thornton Academy with 1 minute remaining in the third quarter, 21-14. Approaching 4:20 remaining in the fourth quarter here. 68-14, Bonny Eagle over Portland. Next week we'll be right back here at Fitzpatrick Stadium, Wyndham in Portland. And you get a penalty flag. And man in motion, I believe. That'll move Portland back. Just a hair. Madison now leads Winthrop Monmouth 47-0. And Wyndham has just tied it against Lewiston 14-14.
Gee whiz.
Handoff. And we'll see who that was. That was Elowich, still in the ball game. 3:40 remaining in the fourth quarter. Make sure you stay tuned at the end of the game for Johnny Mailer's MBR Spectrum Spotlight. He releases that on the MBR Radio Twitter page. You'll have already had one highlight up at the half, and then he'll have another one after the game as well. Again, that is the Spectrum Spotlight, and you can catch that on MBR Radio's Twitter page, MBR at MBR Radio. 3:15 remaining in the fourth quarter. Bonny Eagle 68, Portland 14. Handoff, Elowich up past the 30 and out to the 31-yard line. That'll be more than enough for a first down. Approaching 3 minutes remaining here. I want to thank Coach Kevin Cooper for joining us in the pregame show. I also want to thank Michael Hoffer for joining us for the pregame show as well. Also want to thank our fine sponsors for these games, and we'll do that in just a little bit. 2 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in this one. 68-14, Bonny Eagle busted out to a big lead. It was 21-7, and Portland never recovered. Teron Moss has been the offense for the Portland Bulldogs. That'll be a sweep just past the 30 up to the 33-yard line. That was number 47 on the run. Is that what he said? 47 on the run?
Yeah.
Who's not on the roster here?
Not on the roster.
That's cool. He didn't have him either. And it's funny because I went to him like, is this the same stuff as oh, yeah, it's all set. Okay. I'm glad to know that it's not just us. Under 2 minutes remaining.
Never just us, Matty.
Never just us.
Tell you what, though, when these twos come in, you really got to do some work on the roster. You start really doing some score sheet work.
Nope will keep it himself. Upfield to the 38-yard line. Gain of 5. Make it 3rd and 4. Minute 25 remaining in the fourth quarter. Player of the game tonight, my guess is going to be that Johnny Miller will be interviewing Alex Sprague, which you can catch on the postgame show at MBR Radio as well. Approaching a minute remaining in this one. And it was a 2-point conversion as Valier got in for the Eagles. It is tied at 14. Wyndham and Lewiston. 7:25 remaining there on 105.5 AM 1240 and on mainsbigz.com. You'll actually catch that on 92.7 right after the game.
There you go. Going to push it on.
We'll join it in progress.
Good.
Sprague over the middle. And up to the 47-yard line for a first down. That was nope, not Sprague. Apologies. Alex Sprague has just scored so much tonight that you just want to give him everything, but not the case.
I believe he single-handedly outscored the Portland Bulldogs.
I think he did, yes. He doubled their score, actually.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, no, 24-14, he did them by 10.
No small feat.
Yeah, it's not like if he'd done the extra points, it would have been okay. That looks like it's going to be the final play. 6 seconds, 5 seconds. We'll see if Portland tries to get the one more play off. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second, and they do not get it off. Final, Bonny Eagles 68, Portland 14. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back on the Game of the Week.
Falmouth Orthopedic Center. Central Maine Orthopedics. OA Centers for Orthopedics. All playing on the same team. Maine's top orthopedic practices have joined forces for more efficient and affordable orthopedic care. Introducing Spectrum Orthopedic.
Our goal here at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to raise your program or group the most amount of money possible in the shortest amount of time, hassle-free.
Over the last 3 years, we've been able to raise over $10,000 every year, which has really allowed us to get the extra stuff the kids really need to run a successful program.
One of our biggest goals at Maine Athletic Fundraising is to really develop a relationship on the ground with the coaches, the community, and the boosters that are involved, and help bring them together and understand how important it is to fundraise.
Welcome back. Final score of the Game of the Week, 68-14, Bonny Eagle beats Portland. And Steve, I keep hearing all these great things about Bonny Eagle, and I got to tell you, they proved them right tonight.
If you wanted to see a showcase offense, you wanted to get an idea of what really one of the top-tier offenses in Class A football looks like. Outside of Thornton, outside of Scarborough, they're killing each other tonight. But here, the Bonny Eagle Scots were everything that they've been billed as, a very impressive athletic effort from several people. We saw Menard catch a couple of passes. Seroy's do a nice job quarterbacking the team, handing the ball off, throwing the ball, and running it. Sprague and Thorne, the running backs, were great. Of course, Arlo Pike had a couple of great touches from the catches from the touchdown tight end position, and then defensively just a force. Not a whole lot of offense gained on this Scots team tonight, and Portland, they're going to have to shuffle up and deal and really come with something a little bit different next week against Wyndham.
That'll wrap that up. We'll be back here at Fitzpatrick Stadium next week for the Game of the Week, the MBR Game of the Week from the Spectrum Healthcare Partners broadcast booth. I want to thank Maine Athletic Fundraising for sponsoring the coaches' interviews on the video side of things. On the radio side of things, it's the CMCC Hammond Lumber Game of the Week. Again, we'll be back here next week. Wyndham, Portland, right here from Fitzpatrick Stadium. Then Levitt, Yarmouth in 2 weeks, and then Cape at Levitt 3 weeks from now. We'll be back here tomorrow. In the meantime, on 92.7, why don't you just stay tuned, because 105.5 will have that game for you, joined in progress, as Wyndham and Bonny Eagle are tied at 14. That'll do it for me, for Tyler Farnham, for Steve, and for John Governelli back at the station and the studio. Final score, Bonny Eagle 68, Portland 14. We'll catch you next time on the Game of the Week.